Is it time?
It is time for us to do what we have been doing, and that time is every day.
We'll see what happens. We'll know in a very short period of time, but it looks like it could be something that will be not good. Believe me, not good.
I am a dissident.
Don't move. Move.
I'm saying no, I hear Palantir, 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 Palantir. It's not going to stop.
Seriously, we need to release the F scene list.
Turns off.
I am not a church boy.
Turns off.
They're full-on vampires.
They hate our beef. They hate our beef. They hate our beef because our beef is beautiful and theirs is weak.
Not good. Believe me, not good.
Hello, dissidents. Welcome one and all.
Your microphone's messed up.
Oh, what happened? My microphone's messed up? Oh, what the hell did it do?
That was weird. Yeah, you know what it did? It switched to my webcam microphone of all things. Mind of its own. Mind of its own, this technology.
Ghost in the machine, baby.
Well, hello, dissidents. Welcome one and all to a Thursday afternoon edition of the Do Dissidents podcast. Keaton Weiss here with the man himself after a 6-week hiatus. Russell Dobular is back in
Hello.
in New York City.
In New York City, baby. Had my
Back.
slice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Got your slice.
Got in my slice. You know, the very first meal that I had, which I mean it counts, but it was takeout because I landed late. I got home about 12:30 at night, but I was starving because I just couldn't eat any more fucking rice, man. They tried to give us rice for breakfast. I was like, no.
In China, to give you rice for breakfast?
Yeah, man. Rice or like noodles or like noodle soup, things like that. Yeah. And like on the plane, I was just over it. I was like, no, because it's not even going to be like good version of that on the plane.
Right.
So I ordered, this is not only the ultimate American first meal bag, but it's the ultimate New York first meal bag. I ordered a smash burger with cheese and a matzo ball soup.
Oh, wow. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Those smash burgers are a thing now.
They are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's this place called Herbie's Burgers. They have a place in Brooklyn, and I don't know if they started in Brooklyn or if they started up here and had a location in Brooklyn, but now they're opening places up here. Herbie's Burgers. It's like a smash burger.
Herbie's Burgers? I've never heard of them.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where they started. We have 881 strong in the YouTube chat to start things off. 320 strong. Smash that like button, please, and thank you very much, everybody. Good to have the dynamic duo back in the saddle. Thanks once again to everyone who helped me through that 6-week stretch. But it is great to be back in the normal swing of things after quite a while.
Yes, I would like to thank everybody who showed a lot of support because a lot of you were going over to my channel, and believe me, the words of encouragement were helpful. That was intense, man. That was intense.
Oh yeah,
I'm physically exhausted. Like I'm totally drained. I have never been this discombobulated coming back from a trip. I keep like drifting to half consciousness, and my brain keeps trying to figure out where I am and what time checkout is and what connection I have to catch tomorrow. Like that's what my brain is doing when it's half awake. And then I wake up and I'm like, you're in your house, man. You're in your house. There's your apartment. Like I keep thinking I'm in like I'm in a hotel in Urumqi.
Right.
Like my brain keeps going to that because it's been 4 months of that.
Yeah. You wake up and you're not wired to, being in a certain place.
No, it takes a few minutes and then I'm like, oh, right.
Yeah.
I'm here.
So, for the most part, the stories were good. There were a few stories that I really wished you had been here for. Although Kit and I think, really held down the RFK raccoon castration story. Did you even hear about that when you were away?
No, I did not.
Oh, yeah, no, it came out
Was
that
this like a Guardians of the Galaxy thing?
No, it came out that, Kit made some Guardians of the Galaxy jokes that you would have appreciated more than I did. I don't know the reference. But no, it came out. It was reported in the Post that RFK, years back, of course, the roadkill adventures of RFK continue. Apparently, he saw a
peripherally,
raccoon.
I saw something.
Yeah, he saw a raccoon on the side of the road, a dead raccoon. He pulled over with his kids in the car and went and cut its dick off and kept it to study it. Yeah. So that was one. And then, of course, the big story while you were gone is Michael Tracy challenging Jim Acosta to a fist fight outside the Hampton.
That I saw.
Yeah. Other than that, it's been pretty slow.
I was in on that text chain with you and Jimmy.
Yeah. Because I covered that with Jimmy. Jimmy was I covered that with him. But yeah, other than that, it's been pretty slow. Other than that, not much going on.
Yeah. No,
just a little raccoon fucking and drunken fist fighting outside a hotel in DC.
Yeah, no, when the now I've been gone so long, man. I mean, the Iran war broke out. I mean, Keaton, we were talking about me not going to China. And I said, let me see what China says. Let me give it a week or two to see how they signal before I make a decision. And as I suspected, Chinese, man, Sun Tzu, never interfere with your enemy when they're
we were like, what if there's a hot war and he gets stuck? Yeah.
But the signaling I saw from China was like, they're not going to do that. They're going to let America fuck themselves. And sure enough, that it seems to be how they're dealing with it. But hey, thank you for holding down the show. But Keaton, you're never going to have to do that again. You know why?
Why is that?
Because I decided to make use of my time in China by acquiring a third chair, man. So anytime you want to take a vacation, I got you covered. We got a special guest here who's going to, from now on, take your seat. Right?
That's this backup host. Oh, look at that.
Hello, I'm Robot. I love you.
Much more personable than this guy.
Yeah.
Right?
Does he say fuck Israel?
I'm going to train
him to say that. You got to teach him.
I'm going to teach him to. It's AI.
Yeah.
I'm going to teach him to say all kinds of things.
Yeah. Oh, so you could teach him.
By the time I'm done with this guy, he's going to be smoking a cigarette. He's gonna be...
Yeah, right.
Please wait a moment.
Yeah, look at that. Man. See, perfect. We don't even have to pay him. That's the best part.
Yeah, no, that's it. That's the host.
That's the new one. That's our new co-host, and one of us wants to take off.
You could set up a second camera through StreamYard. You could just set up a camera and it will film him the whole time, and he'll just be the third box. He'll just be there the whole time.
Well, no, it really is AI. Like I tested it. That was part of why I got it. Like you can talk to it. Like it will answer.
Yeah, no, I believe it. That's the point of those. Well, that's great. That's awesome. That's exciting to hear. Well, hey, got a nice crowd finally in here. Smash that like button. Let's get to 666 as soon as possible, please, and thank you. Got a lot to cover today, and we figure a fitting place to start would be Donald Trump in China.
Trump in China, yes. So I'm gonna preface this by saying this because I know I'm gonna get this a lot. All right, so Sunday, it was too much to prepare for today. Sunday, I am going to do an epic China special using my videos, using my pictures to really get into what I'm sure people are most curious about. What was China like? What did I see in China? What were my thoughts about it? I went to a lot of places that are way off the normal tourist track, like the Zhao and Lai Mansion and the birthplace of the CPC, which are both museums. And what was most interesting there was the placards, man, because this is the CPC giving its own account of its own history. This is something you would never see here. You'd have to go there to see within China how they talk about themselves and their history. So Sunday, we'll get into all of that. But yeah, I mean, clearly I'll probably be on the China desk for the foreseeable future. So I want to say, because I know, it can be taken a certain way. I don't claim now because I went to China because I've been. I'm not saying I'm not a China expert. I'll never be a China expert. I'll never speak the language. That by definition makes you not an expert in the subject. So, but I got good eyes and I saw some things. Eric Doherty here. It's very funny when you look at the MAGA framing here. Everything has to be that, Trump teabagged Z. Everything has to be boiled down to that. I want to get like one of the last 3 people left in America who buys this stuff and get their take on this. It's just amazing to me. Anybody would LMAO. The Chinese school children started literally jumping up and down for President Trump, and he's absolutely loving it. He just patted Xi on the arm. They've been rehearsing for this. 47 can't stop grinning. Yeah, the school children love Donald Trump in China. They love him. This is not the G sat down with them and said, children, we have very stupid man coming to country, very easily flatter. Jump up, down. He give us everything. This is very easy, this guy. Yeah, no, that's not their choreography. They're very excited. See this half-right, moronic president of the decaying empire in their country.
Yeah, kids are in a good mood when they're not being trafficked by vampiric Zionist pedophiles.
Yeah, they're like, oh, G, protect us from Epstein. That's what was going on there. That was genuine enthusiasm for seeing Donald Trump there. And then this is pretty funny. This is Powell Wargan, or maybe Pavel. Exclusive footage of White House officials encountering civilization for the very first time. Yeah, Marco Rubio was quite stunned by the ceiling fixtures for some reason. He's amazed. Yeah, no, they have lights. They have spacious meeting rooms. He really doesn't know what to make of the height of the ceiling. Yeah, no. This is the A-team here, folks. Proud to be an American.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very proud to have these people representing me in China. So, everybody's got a hot take on it. This is one that I happen to agree with. New Direction Africa. They told the whole world to avoid China, decouple, de-risk, sanctions, tariff, war rhetoric. Then 12 U.S. capitalists flew to Beijing to beg the Communist Party for deals. Elon Musk, top CEOs, Trump himself, all in China, smiling, shaking hands, asking for business. The same politicians who call China an evil empire are now standing in Beijing with their hands out. Told Africa to stay away from China. Told Europe to cut ties. Told everyone China is a threat. But when their economy is burning, when their factories are shutting, when their own system is failing, where do they run? Beijing. They do not believe their own lies. They just want you to. Hypocrisy has no borders, but neither does desperation. Yeah, isn't that funny how they talk about how China has to be sanctioned and has to be contained and how dangerous it is. And then, they're all ready to go there and make a deal. That's for the rubes. It's for the rubes. So this was pretty interesting. This has gotten a fair amount of attention. So Xi opened his speech by quoting from the Greeks, actually.
Watching our meeting. Currently, transformation not seen in a century is accelerating across the globe, and the international situation is fluid and turbulent. The world has come to a new crossroads. Can China and the United States overcome the Thucydides' trap and create a new paradigm of major country relations? Can we meet global challenges together and provide more stability for the world? Can we, in the interests of the well-being of our two peoples and the future of humanity, build a brighter future together for our bilateral relations? These are the questions vital to history, to the world, and to the people. They are the questions of our times that you and I need to answer as leaders of major countries. This year.
Okay. So what's that reference? What's the reference to Thucydides? What
I'm
is
sure
he
Donald
talking
Trump knows
about?
it. I'm
Oh
sure
yeah,
Trump
no,
knew
he
that.
picked up on that. He picked up on that very nuanced reference right away.
Nudges Rubio. I told you he'd open with the Thucydides trap.
I told you. I want you. See, you gave it to him. You gave it to him. I wanted to open with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So to explain, and this is a pretty pointed reference. See, this is what happens when you have an intelligent, educated person running a country who's actually qualified. They're able to make multi-layered references that are at once an offer of peace and a threat. The Thucydides trap comes from Harvard professor Graham T. Allison's analysis of 16 historical cases where a rising power challenged a dominant one. 12 of those 16 ended in war. That is 75% of them ending in war. Xi has been referencing this concept since 2013, not as an academic exercise, as a strategic framing device. What Xi is actually saying: on the surface, let us cooperate. Let us avoid conflict. Let us be partners. Underneath, China is Athens. America is Sparta. The fear that China's rise generates in Washington is the primary driver of the conflicts happening right now. What it tells us about Chinese thinking. There's AJ Jaff, by the way. Give him a follow. This was a pretty good little piece. These are just excerpts of it. It's part of a longer analysis. China does not see itself as the aggressor. It sees itself as Athens, rising, building, accumulating, refusing to accept that its rise must be capped by Spartan fear. The Belt and Road, the Beidou satellite system, the Yuan oil settlement architecture, the INSTC corridor through Iran, the Gwadar port in Pakistan, the submarine cable blocking rule. All of it is Athens building its own infrastructure, its own alliances, its own systems, and its own way of guaranteeing its future. Washington calls it aggression. Beijing calls it development. Xi quoting Thucydides is not a philosophical gesture. It is a precise legal and historical argument. We are not the aggressor. We are the rising power that your fear is turning into a war neither of us needs. Dead on. Dead on. There's part of why I didn't cancel going to China when the war broke out. They're not looking for war. They're not looking for that. But that is very much the case. That is very much what this is all about. All of what they've been doing in South and Central America has been in response to China building ports and roads there. You go, when I took the bullet train in Laos, that was built by China. This is how they are establishing power. A little different from our model. They're not sending in a bunch of Marines to murder everybody. They're building roads and ports. And lo and behold, most of the world prefers that approach. Most of the world is more responsive to it, which is why we're doubling down on military violence to try to put a stop to that. So that's very good analysis, in my opinion. So on the other side from Brian Allen, Trump is in China kissing major ass right now. Trump to Xi Jinping in Beijing. We're going to have a fantastic future together. I have such respect for China. The job you've done, you're a great leader. I say it to everybody. The same China Trump called a currency manipulator, right? 145% tariffs, trade war. They're ripping us off. Xi didn't even meet him at the airport. Oh, Eric Doherty didn't mention that. He didn't mention that Xi did not meet him at the airport. MAGA is cooked. Yeah, on that I think we can all agree. All right, so here's Trump after Xi opens up with this very pointed historical reference, and here's your wonderful leader. Here's what leads us, the thing that leads us.
President Xi, I want to thank you very much. First of all, that was an honor like few have ever seen before. And I think I was particularly impressed by those children. They were happy. They were beautiful. The military is obvious. It couldn't be better, but those children were amazing, and they represent so much. And I know they
And
represent
as
so
everybody
much to you.
knows, I love children.
You and I have known each other now.
You know what we do to
for a long
children back
time.
home? Never
In
mind.
fact,
Never
the
mind.
longest relationship
I'll talk to you about
of
that in
our two
private.
countries that any
Come to
president and
Mar-a-Lago, I'll
president
tell you.
has had. And
I don't know why you keep declining the invitation. It's like you're not a
fantastic
$6.
relationship. We've gotten
I'm not used to
along. When there
dealing
were
with people who are
difficulties,
not
we worked it
$6.
out. I would call you, and you would call me, and whenever we had a problem, people don't know. Whenever we had a problem, we worked that out very quickly. We're going to have a fantastic future together. Such respect for China, the job you've done. You're a great leader. I say it to everybody. You're a great leader. Sometimes people don't like me saying it, but I say it anyway because it's true. I only say the truth. And I just want to say, on behalf of all of the great delegation that we have the greatest businessmen, the biggest, and I guess the best in the world. We have amazing people, and they're all with me. Every single one of them, we asked the top 30 in the world, every single one of them said yes. And I didn't want the second or the third in the company. I wanted only the top. And they're here today to pay respects to you and to China. And they look forward to
This man,
trade
I
and
think
doing
he's
business.
stupider
and
than Biden.
it's going to be
and
totally
he was
reciprocal on our behalf.
sundowning old
So
man.
I really look very much forward
where's
to
my
our
headphones?
discussion.
Are
It's
these
a big
working or no
discussion. There
working?
are those that say this is maybe the biggest summit ever.
Get to the point,
I can never
motherfucker.
remember anything like it. I can say in the United States, people aren't talking about anything else.
Oh yeah,
Rick,
no,
how
there's
about
all
you
It's an
throw me
honor to
and
be
get back
with
on the
you. It's
train?
an honor to be your friend, and the relationship between China and the USA is going
they
to be
might
better
be talking
than
about
ever
how
before.
they can't afford
Thank
to
you
eat
very much.
anymore because they started this stupid war. But other than that, this is the number one topic. Yeah, I mean, what is he thinking listening to this? What is he thinking listening to this? This moron rambling. Yeah, we didn't want number two. We wanted number one. We only brought the best. Yeah. What the hell is that? I'm sorry. I'm still a little sick from the flight.
You didn't bring back the rat shit vapor virus, did you?
No,
You didn't fuck
I
a
don't
rat
think so.
and felch it, did you?
No, I did not felch
okay,
any rat. I
good.
brought your kids back a rat, though.
Yeah, it's a
Very
fake rat.
It's
It
a
doesn't
fake
have
rat.
it doesn't have the shit virus in it.
Nah, man. I climbed a snow-capped mountain in shorts and a t-shirt, and then I went hiking in the desert the next day.
All right.
That kind of did it. So yeah, again, like this framing is just so ridiculous. I had to pull this. I'm not going to play the clip, but MAGA voice breaking. President Xi stuns the room, saying to Trump, "We should be partners, not rivals." I never in a million years would have thought Xi would say something like that. The deep state is shaking right now. This is such a just collection of absurdities. I don't even know what a MAGA person is supposed to make out of this statement. I mean, okay, so you're assuming rightly that anyone that would take this account seriously is so ignorant they don't know that that's completely in keeping with China's posture forever, right? We don't want any conflict. He's presenting it as if Xi is the one who's conflict oriented, but the implication is he's backing down because Trump is so strong,
Right,
he's such
right,
a
right.
strong leader. And then the deep state is shaking right now. So what you're saying, like the deep state is creating conflict between China and America that the Trump doesn't want, the guy who ran around talking about how he's going to slap 145% tariffs on him. That was the deep state made him do. It's just the level of stupid is amazing. Like I said, I'm doing my special report on China on Sunday. and I'm going to get into my overall take, which is going to be nuanced. You know, I see some people are like, yo, don't tongue bath China. Listen, I don't tongue bath anybody except, you know, Keaton alone when Amanda's away. But that's between us. That's none of your business, all right? When you look at how America runs and what the consequences of it are, you can't help but be sympathetic to the idea that people are not able to govern themselves. I'm sorry. When you look at that, yeah, man, like you could make a case for it. You could definitely make an argument for it. Because anybody who's reading that and finding it intelligible, are they contributing anything to the political process? And that's the underlying argument, that in the end, okay, maybe people can govern themselves if you give them enough information and you give them accurate information, right? But that's not going to happen because capitalists are going to eat the state. They're going to eat your media, and they're going to make sure that the people are just completely confused and manipulated. That's what that is. That's all that is. You go to a country where there's none of that going on, it's very different. And it has its drawbacks too, which I will get into on Sunday. So 5 takeaways from the Trump summit in Beijing so far. Trump and Xi agreed to build a constructive China-U.S. relationship of strategic stability. I'm sure Xi understands Trump well enough to know that that's meaningless. China's door to opening up will only open wider, Xi said. China expressed interest in purchasing more U.S. oil to wean off its reliance on Middle Eastern crude. And Xi reserved his sharpest language for Taiwan. So just a little bit more from the article. Trump, Xi, and their teams discussed ways to enhance economic cooperation, including expanding market access for U.S. businesses into China and increasing Chinese investment into American industries, according to a White House official. Trump also called for continued efforts from Beijing to curb the fentanyl flows into the U.S. and ramp up purchases of American agricultural goods, according to the U.S. official. Trump and Xi agreed that the Strait of Hormuz must remain open to restore energy flows through the critical waterway, according to the White House official. This is the interesting part. Xi reiterated Beijing's opposition to the militarization of the energy artery and any effort to charge a toll for its use, the official said. China also expressed interest in purchasing more U.S. oil to wean off its reliance on Middle Eastern crude. Both countries agreed that Iran can never have a nuclear weapon, the official said. Now, are they blowing smoke up his ass? I don't know. I mean, those seem to be major concessions to the U.S. position. Xi reserved his sharpest language for Taiwan, calling it the most important issue in U.S.-China relations. The stakes, he said, could not be higher. Handle it well, the relationship holds. Handle it badly, the two countries risk collision or conflict. Now, this is something where having gone to China is helpful. I think it gave me a lot more insight into their feelings about Taiwan. You go to any museum in China about Chinese history, the century of humiliation is the origin story of modern China. That is core to the thinking of modern China. For them, this is why they'll get triggered if Michael Senna, some schmucky actor, says something positive about Taiwan. Why do they go berserk about something like that? Because they were humiliated, a very proud country that for thousands of years had seen itself kind of as the greatest country on earth, right? The center of the universe, the perfect country. And they were humiliated and devastated by Western powers coming in and forcing opium on them, forcing unfair treaties on them, burning down their palaces, attacking their cities. And they never got over that. Taiwan is, for them, kind of like if for us, the Confederates had taken the Virgin Islands and established a state there, and that state was allied with our enemies, and our enemies kept it propped up right off our shores. That's pretty much what Taiwan is for them. The people who tortured and imprisoned the CPC that they had this war with, that they won, the Kuomintang, are over there. It's like as if the Confederates had a government right off the American shores. And anytime the West tries to pressure them about Taiwan, it hits that sore spot. It hits that sore spot of the century of humiliation. They're not going to be told what to do with territory that they consider their own, that fell into the hands of what they consider Nazis, more or less, in the way that they describe what they did to them when they had power. It brings all that up. It rips open that wound when outside powers try to tell them what they can and can't do with Taiwan. So that's really, I think, where that's coming from. To close out, Mr. Jeffrey Sachs here, who pops up. This was something interesting there too. If you watch China's state news, he comes on there. He comes on. Mearsheimer comes on, like a lot, like a lot of people that we associate kind of at this point with like these kicked out of the club academics. A lot of them do pop up in interviews and clips on China's news. All right, so here's a little bit from Sachs.
Is now perceived by the United States as an existential threat to American primacy, because American policymakers cannot understand how we made the mistake of letting China become a powerful country. This was not in the playbook. China was supposed to develop in a way that is subservient to the United States. And so now we call it a failure that we made various mistakes, like letting China in the World Trade Organization or letting China play institutionally. This is obviously a mistake, not in my view because China did anything wrong. And as a development economist, and I think a pretty good one and a pretty knowledgeable one, I would tell you that China has managed economic development better than just about any place in world history, with a lot of skill and a tremendously high saving rate and a tremendous determination to catch up from a century of impoverishment. And they've done it quite brilliantly, in fact. But in the U.S. view, they cheated, and now they have to be punished for threatening American security.
Yeah. Like, hey, having been there, having seen that, Americans do not understand how far behind they are. I mean, some people who have gone to China say, America already lost and they don't know it. I think that's probably true. Like, they're living in another freaking century. When I came back and I took the Uber from the airport, it was weird. You want to talk, like, I'm not having severe culture shock because at this point I've traveled enough. I'm used to going to very different places and coming back. But was it weird seeing like busted up roads and, burns on the side of the road and things all, dirty and nasty? Yeah, because I hadn't seen that the whole time I was in China. Everywhere I went, even Xinjiang, that's pretty much as far out in China as you can go. It's pretty well developed. You never saw a pothole. You never saw, crumbling housing or anything like that. Things that we take for granted. Needless to say, you don't see people in severe states of psychiatric distress just kind of left to wander the streets. Like, you just don't see any of that. A big part of why the Chinese government has so much support from its people, and it does, as I will demonstrate with video on Sunday, they lifted 800 million people out of poverty. For the Chinese people, that gives them legitimacy. If they hadn't done that, they probably wouldn't have that. But because they did that, they have that support. The Chinese people look around and they see where a relatively short time ago, they had crumbling cities. They had that. Now they've got beautiful, beautiful cities that are among the most modern in the world, if not the most modern in the world. They're proud of it, and they credit the CPC with that accomplishment. This whole Thucydides trap, as G, I think, rightly pointed out at the top there, yeah, that's exactly what's happening. Like, look, Trump is an idiot, but Besant isn't. These guys know what's up. They can see when they drive around China. This isn't the first time these guys have been to China. They know China is way, way, way out ahead of us. This is why they're taking the military actions that they're taking. They're trying to flip the board in a way that a power that has fallen back behind in every other way will be able to maintain its hegemony purely through violence.
Yeah, didn't Trump say something to the effect of there's going to be two powers, it's going to be us and it's going to be China, some sort of nod to multipolarity, which is just an inevitability. And there's no reason why that has to be any kind of problem. They're obviously not a warlike lot. Most of the shit in our homes is made in China already. We can't even get to Cuba. I think this is another thing that, we are realizing is that we are simply, as all empires are in the end, spread too thin. We can't even knock off Cuba because we can't get out of Iran that was supposed to be over in 4 to 6 weeks. So, like, what are you going to do? I mean, a war with China would last hours. That's what Garland Nixon said. It would last hours. And so you can't do it. And so get along. Most of what we own is from China. Most of the shit in our stores is in China. So how bad could it be? Like how tense could it be? Right? We've embargoed them. What has to be the problem that rises to apocalyptic levels when it comes to relations between these two countries? There's really no reason for it.
I mean, part of the threat is that China is offering a different vision of the world, especially with young people. You have more and more people saying, "Why can't we have that? Why don't we have that?" It's embarrassing, right? They would love an opportunity to bring China to its knees, but as you point out, how would they do it, right? So they kind of have to live with it, but it drives them crazy. That's why you have this, these wild bipolar mood swings in the way that they deal with China, because in the end, they want to destroy China, but they can't.
Well, they can't. The
horse has left the barn.
Yeah, well, it's not possible. And, as far as like the culture shock, it's like in the Sopranos, where they come back from the old country and they're driving through Newark after they land at the airport. And there are those scenes of just, urban decay contrasted with the beauty of the old country. And, a lot of this just has to do with the fact that we're basically Israel here. I mean, we basically are. Like upstate New York, these are settlements in the woods. This is Native American land. We took it over and we built shitty houses and malls. Like that's what it is. We haven't been here for thousands of years. There's not a millennium of culture behind this place. We took it over, we built some shit. So that's what America is. We settled some land. It's beautiful land, gorgeous land, and we turned it ugly by building a bunch of shit on it for the most part. I mean, what is the most beautiful thing America has built? A fucking arch that you shit your pants in going up to look over the fucking casino in East St. Louis there. Over there. That's the most beautiful thing.
All
right, what is the Empire State Building? It's nice. Art Deco. Okay, it's nice. Fine. Gold, silver. But seriously, like, what is the most beautiful building? The most beautiful building in America that I've ever seen in person is probably St. Patrick's Cathedral. And what is that? That's European. That's basically just a knockoff.
Well, a lot of the Frank Lloyd Wright stuff is actually I've come to appreciate. Well, this is what I was telling you. I talked about it a little on the live stream I did on my channel. Even flying into New York, I felt like this is what it must have been like when Americans took a vacation to London or Paris in the mid 60s. Like, they're coming from this ultra modern city, New York or Chicago, and they're flying into Paris and London, which is very quaint to them because it's got this older style of architecture, and the American cities are these ultra modern, brand new cities. That's what it felt like coming from Beijing to New York. Even from overhead, like you could see, it's not as developed, it's not as built up, it's not as modern. You can see the bridges are old, early to mid 20th century kind of bridges, not like the modern bridges that they have there. And yeah, like New York is lovely in that way. It has, what London Bridge would have been to people at one time. That's what the Brooklyn Bridge is now. Like New York,
I love New York.
Is settling into being like a quaint city defined by its golden age, which would have been like the mid 20th century, and the world has moved on, and people will come and like enjoy the quaintness of this Art Deco from another time, but the momentum is not here, it's someplace else.
Right. And look, like, I'm not saying that to run this place into the ground. It is what it is. I love New York. I love parts of this country. I love a lot of the little towns. I love the scenery. There's a lot to love about living here, but it's not what these other places are, which is why not to
it's not the future
piece. Right, because it's not the future, and it's also not something where you can necessarily transplant the Chinese system here, which I know you're going to get into on Sunday, right?
Cannot.
So, like, look, they're different places. We're going to have differences, just like we're going to have differences with the Russians, just like we're going to have differences with the Iranians. Doesn't mean you have to kill each other over it. There's just no point to any of that. There's no point to any of that. And in the age of apocalyptic weaponry, that'll leave us all dead before it makes anybody's lives any better.
Yep.
All right. We got the rest of this segment right here. Why don't we take some chats first?
Oh yeah, we got the Bret Baier thing. Yeah. Okay.
Go ahead, take some. Most of them are to you, so we got.
How do I do it? Because I'm in the Rumble studio.
No. You got to stay in StreamYard.
Stay in StreamYard to go where?
Go to banners.
Oh,
or plugs. Yeah.
Plugs. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. So then it's going to be
Nocturnal Human is the first one.
Got it. All right. Hang on. Got it. All right. Nocturnal Human, welcome back, and thanks to our great diplomat Russell Doppler for setting up the meeting between Xi Jinping and Trump. I mean, it is pretty funny that happened literally like as soon as I got home. They had this summit in China. Saucer 78, my favorite commie Jew bastards are back online. Okay, you did great holding the fort down, and the guest hosts were thumbs up. Nobody is as fabulous as Russ. Oh, thank you. That is very kind of you. Ken Minji, Abbott and Costello, Martin and Lewis, Siegfried and Roy, Regis and Kathy Lee, Russ and Keaton, all great duos coming twos.
That's a yogiism. That's a Yogi Berra-ism. All great duos coming twos.
Coming twos, yeah. Viaticus Prime, Meme Meep, male motherfucker. I think that went over my head.
He sent me something in the mail. Did you send me something in the mail? All right. I check the P.O. box like once a week, so I'll get it.
You open a package and find a letter inside. The letter reads, everything's a scam, everything's a lie, everything's hypocrisy, and so you don't comply. All right, so I guess he sent you something. A non-user, $100.
Wow, $100. Wow,
from a commie? From a commie?
That's the first communist whoever sent us $100.
That just proves that the system works better. They're becoming more prosperous.
Yeah, more prosperous.
Communist revolution, the only solution. And welcome back, Russ. Let me get. It is very nice to have this here. Very cool. My prayer bell from Lao.
Thank you, Anon. Appreciate that. Very kind of you.
All right. Thank you, man. It's very generous of you. All right. Moving on. Doug Ritchie, from each according to their abilities to each according to their needs. Welcome back, Russ. Kudos to Keaton for holding down the fort. Mad props to Kit. Yep.
Thank you, Kit. Thank you, everybody.
Takes a village, baby. It used to, but now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
We have robot. Get up, King. Professor Tobular and Dice Weiss back together. That's
Thank
right.
you.
In our very own Broadway musical. E.F. Husseau. Welcome home, Russ. Which country had the hottest women? Which country seemed to be the healthiest and fittest? I thought the Cambodians were very beautiful. They have this like bronze skin. It's just very different from anybody else. I thought the Cambodians. Who's the most fit? Okay, the Vietnamese are like small, but they're freaking strong, which, you know, history kind of bears that out.
Yeah.
It's like they're slender, but they're very healthy. So I would say maybe the Vietnamese, actually. Welcome back to the best show on the internet, Russ. Thank you. Damn right, my friend. Damn right. Eric Rousseau, how good were the Chinese sex robots? I don't kiss and tell. Not even with circuitry. Although, you know, when I do drop my Shenzhen video, and actually I'll show some of that on Sunday. Yeah, dude, they had like a bunch of like clearly, you know, sex bot kind of robots at one of the places where I was checking out the robots, like, you know, made to look like college age girls and like to be flirty. My name's Emma. I just want to have fun. Ha ha ha. You know, like really creepy shit, man. Me shoot ski super sticker. Thank you. Vianticus Prime. So how'd everyone enjoy all those people at Trump's golf course worshiping the golden lol cow? Rat farts. One more?
Sure.
Harford. Okay, please check out Who'll Stand With Us by Dropkick Murphy. Great labor song.
Awesome.
All right.
Thank you.
All right.
All right. Bret Baier.
Bret Baier, yeah. So Fox News was very, very concerned about the surveillance. And so's filthy whore Eric Doherty. The Chinese communists have just ticketed the Fox News crew using their abundance of surveillance cameras placed around Beijing. This is communism. It's what the Democrats want.
It's what the Democrats
It's
want.
what the Democrats want, yeah. All right, so here is their little piece about getting ticketed there.
Is watching. There are literally cameras everywhere in Beijing. We are outside the Haidian station, and I can count at least 20 on this corner. In fact, in Beijing, they've added 1,500 cameras just this year alone. They see everything. There's nobody jaywalking here because they could get a ticket right away. In fact, our driver parked illegally for 2 minutes, and he got a message on his phone.
He's now
that
dead.
He got a ticket for about $40 US because they saw it.
He's now in a labor camp filling a notebook with his
CCP's
crimes.
goal is about citizen tracking and social.
He's now
scoring.
grinding his fingernails
They say it's
into
to make everybody feel safe.
froth.
These cameras are watching every minute. They're everywhere, and while they're watching us,
You mean
here
like in New
China,
York?
We hope you continue to watch. Special
Wow.
report from Beijing.
I'll get to it. Okay, all right. So he's very disturbed about having gotten ticketed because that's something that never happens in New York.
No, you'll never get a ticket. in New
You'll
York
never
City.
get a ticket for parking 2 minutes. I will tell you, this is a true story, and it's a big part of why I do not maintain a car in New York City. They may do a lot of things within efficiency, but they are very efficient about finding exactly where motorists in their desperation are going to have to do something illegal and having a trap there to ticket you. When I had a car in New York, I once, because it was one of those areas out by Queens Boulevard where you're not getting a parking spot for an hour, right? You're going to have to keep circling the block. And there was like a drugstore there and I needed aspirin. So I double parked. I went in, I got the aspirin. I came out 2 minutes. There was a ticket. I never even saw who did it.
No, I got a ticket Battery Park City once. I was given a tour. They were at the Statue of Liberty. I was driving them around. So I just, Battery Park City is like a little roundabout with all the residential buildings. And so I really had to take a piss. And so I parked in what was a legal spot, went into the hotel to take a piss, came back to the car, ticket. He says, bus stop. So there's a sign. Here's the sign that says no parking from here to the corner, right? And there's a bus stop at the other end of the block. So I can't park on this side of the line because it's no parking here to corner. So I backed the ass of my car up right to this line, which is the furthest I could be from the bus stop because the bus stop is on that side of the block. He gives me a ticket saying I'm too close to the bus stop. Now, I'm proud to say I beat that ticket because I took a picture and I sent it into the city. I said, I parked literally as far away from the bus stop as I was allowed to. If that's too close to the bus stop, it should just be no parking on the whole street, which she agreed with, and I beat it. I beat the system. That's one of my proudest moments.
Good for you.
But yeah, I was going for 10 minutes and boom, ticket.
Yeah. For somebody from New York to
Yeah.
have that particular complaint, and as you point out, and I'll get to it, being from New York, you're going to talk about cameras. You're going to talk about cameras.
Yeah,
I
cameras,
always say that. If you walk out of your house in New York, you're on camera.
The Walmart in Albany is like the set of They Live. They got fucking solar powered radar things for speeding and cameras pointing everywhere. It's like they got that place surveilled like it's a fucking prison. And it's the Walmart Supercenter for the city of Albany. Yeah, no, there's too many cameras.
Yeah,
here.
no, we don't have any cameras here.
Yeah, lucky
So
for
this
him, there's
is,
no camera at the Del Frisco's men's room. Yeah.
Lee
That's where he's used to
Jingjing.
going, so he's not used to cameras.
That's it. Yeah, you better not do that widespread in the
Yeah.
stall there.
Yeah.
So the story is Fox News parked illegally in Beijing and got a ticket. Instead of reflecting their own mistakes, they complained it's because of all the cameras and communism. Getting punishment when someone does illegal things is what everyone in the society expect. It looks like they got used to impunity. Now, I will say this in terms of jaywalking, because he says nobody jaywalks. You know, it's true that people tend not to do that, but people tend not to do that everywhere. Like New Yorkers are unusual in that they jaywalk. So being a New Yorker, I jaywalked plenty and I never got a ticket.
Oh yeah.
So I can attest that it's not so easy to get ticketed for jaywalking in China as he's making out. And then look at this. While Fox News is complaining they got a ticket for illegal parking, this is what his team is doing. Beijing residents spotted this and uploaded it to Douyin. He's filming in the middle of busy traffic. He's literally Bret Baier is literally playing in traffic.
So they ratted him out.
They ratted him out. Yeah, look at him. Look at him. You should get ticketed for that. Look at that. Like you're not creating a safety hazard. They wouldn't be in their rights to ticket you for doing this.
Oh, he looks like the richest Ouija, not Ouija,
Squeegee
guy.
Yeah, man. Look, China is not a free-for-all with the traffic like Southeast Asia. Like they actually have traffic laws and rules and stuff, but it's like heavy traffic. Like he's definitely creating a hazard for motorists there. Now it is particularly funny for Bret Baier, who works for Fox News, to have this complaint because guess where Fox News headquarters is? New York.
Yep.
New York. That's Fox News headquarters right there, Rockefeller Center, ironically placed right across from their arch nemesis, NBC.
Yep.
And of course, as we were just mentioning, why so many cameras in NYC? Big Apple, one of most surveilled cities. How many surveillance cameras are in NYC? There are 80,303 surveillance cameras in New York City, according to Comparitech. That comes out to roughly 10.12 cameras per 1,000 people in New York City. So Fox News must do a lot of special reports complaining about the oppressive surveillance state. No, when they cover this, they tend to complain about not having enough cameras or cameras that don't work. Investigation into NYC subway station cameras. I watched this. They were complaining about cameras that don't work, about not having enough surveillance, because of course their audience of 80 to dead really gets off on ginning up crime fear, right? Oh, they don't have enough surveillance. But there is a legitimate surveillance issue in America, right? It's from Jason Bassler. Let me get this straight. Palantir now controls 30 plus federal agencies, DHS-wide data fusion, health surveillance infrastructure, master list database of all Americans, law enforcement pre-crime intelligence, and now the Pentagon is making Palantir AI its core military system. One company running government, running the military, running surveillance on all of us. What could possibly go wrong? So how does Fox cover Palantir? They're so concerned about surveillance and oppressive government authority. Well, they basically suck them off whenever they cover Palantir. Trump taps Palantir to hunt fraud with AI Iron Man suit. Why Palantir keeps winning as military AI spending accelerates. So they have nothing but good things to say about probably the company that poses the greatest threat to privacy and autonomy in America, if not the world. This is what I saw when I was over there, and again, I'll get into this in more depth Sunday. All the stuff that you're afraid of, the digital currency, the surveillance, the monitoring, the tracking, that technology doesn't need to be invented. It exists, and China has it, and they're using it. Now, Bret Baier's a ridiculous clown, and the network that he works for is just full of liars whose intention is just to mislead people away from their actual class enemies. But does China have a surveillance system that monitors everyone all the time? Yep, they do. Passively. Like there's not like a billion Chinese people sitting in
Right.
offices watching every single person. Nowadays, it's probably AI. It's there. It's there. If they need to investigate somebody, the paper trail is there for them to find if they need it, right? They took your picture when you came out of the metro. The camera caught you everywhere that you were walking around. They're going to bring that. And yeah, you pay for everything with your phone. You pay for everything with your phone. They are going to bring that, or they want to bring that technology here, but that technology is going to be in the hands of Elon Musk. It's going to be in the hands of Alex Karp. And it's not going to be run by a socialist government who, at the end of the day, you don't lift 800 million people out of poverty by accident, right? If they didn't believe in these socialist ideals of elevating all people to a certain standard of living, they wouldn't have done that with their power. They would not have made all that effort to make a great infrastructure and more adequate housing and to bring people out of these slums that did exist in China, right? So they do have a belief in that. And for them, I think a lot of this surveillance is aimed at us. I don't think it's really aimed at their population, because my experience there was the population is not restive. Like if you think they hate the government, you're very wrong. You're very wrong. So who's that about? Well, they're surrounded by the military bases of a country that has a long history of infiltrating with the CIA and fomenting astroturfed uprisings against governments to displace them with their puppets. I think that's what that's about, honestly, at the end of the day. If they were that afraid of their population, they wouldn't be continuously expanding who can go into China without a visa. They wouldn't want outsiders in there to talk to their people. And today with translation apps, the language barrier is not a barrier. You can talk to people. That having been said, yes, they do have cameras everywhere. They're bringing that here. They want to bring that here. But it is going to be put at the service of making it impossible for you to overthrow the wealthy corporations and individuals who are going to be in control of that technology. And that is something Fox News, not only are they not going to tell you about that, they're part of that agenda.
Well, yeah, I mean, look, it's a different societal arrangement. It's a different bargain over there than it is over here. And obviously, there is a political project over there that is in the works and seemingly on the rise. And so, there's a whole different relationship between the person and the state over there. The conception of the state over there is a literal collection of the people who all play their role in getting this giant thing to function for the maximum betterment of everyone. And over here, there's obviously a very, very different relationship between the state and its people.
Well, the state is actively working against you. The state, because your interests are in conflict with the people they work for. At this point, the state is actively trying to make your life worse.
Well,
the
and
state
the people,
is your enemy.
Well, even the people who benefit most from these policies view the state as a nuisance, right? They're always trying to whittle away at it to make less and less of it. So, like, no matter where you fall, there is this sort of bargain here that the state is going to be an impediment to your success. I mean, that is really the ethos of this country. And that is an ethos that is widely adopted across parties, really, and even across class lines. Like, even the people who benefit the most from this system, even a guy like Elon Musk, who literally gets defense contracts, is constantly trying to disempower the very mechanism that has treated him so well, right? It's a very broad sort of philosophical dynamic that really transcends just about everything, whereas in a place like China, it's completely different. And so the cameras are not necessarily there for the same reason that they're there here. Not necessarily. Like I said, I've never been. But yeah, like, we don't have cameras in New York. I mean, you can't do anything in New York anymore. So many fine Italian-American businessmen who are just trying to facilitate people's football bets, they can't do it anymore because there's cameras everywhere.
No, you can't even settle a score on the corner of Bleecker Street and get away with it.
Exactly. All right, we'll move right on along here. Just a quick pause, if you all don't mind. A quick question for you. How much control do you actually have over your money right now? Because technology has changed everything, and now it's changing how money works and how wallets work. And that's why we're here to talk about the Rumble Wallet. You can get started with Rumble Wallet today. It's way easier than you think. With Rumble Wallet, you can buy Bitcoin, hold dollar-backed stablecoin, and even own digital gold backed by real gold, all in one place. Setup is simple. It connects with MoonPay, so you can use your debit card, credit card, or bank account and be up and running in minutes. And this is the fun part. Once you're set up, you can tip your favorite Rumble creators like us directly. And this is a great way to support the free speech creator economy and a great way to support your favorite individual creators. Rumble Wallet takes 0 platform fees, so we keep nearly 100% of what you send us. The interface is simple and user-friendly. Sending a Rumble rant through your Rumble Wallet is just as easy as when you do it the old-fashioned way. So do this now. Scan the QR code or click the link in the description and download the Rumble Wallet. From there, you could set your wallet up, tap buy, and just like that, you are in the game. So take control of your money and help support our creator economy here on the internet through free speech platforms like Rumble. It's hugely important. Get started with Rumble Wallet today. Go to wallet.rumble.com or search Rumble Wallet in the App Store and get up and running in minutes. Okay, let's see. Where did Russ go? Russ took a break. All right. I will take some chats right here. In the meantime, in the time being, John Smith says, welcome back, Keaton. Who's your guest host? Ha ha. Just kidding. Thank you, John Smith. Appreciate that. Yeah, I got that. Okay, now we got this. Beautiful. I'll try to take the ones that are not addressed to Russ while he is away. Anthony Kotz, thank you for the $1. Appreciate that very, very much. Let's see. What else do we got here? Moving up here. Mr. Measy. Keaton, I post your Hampton Inn billboard meme to every tweet Tracy makes now. Welcome back, Russell. The boys are back, baby. Woo! There you go. Thank you, Mr. Measy. Appreciate that. Yeah, that Tracy meme was fun. Why is this giving me a problem? Okay. Gator Pete says, welcome home, Russ. Thank you, Gator
Thank you,
Pete.
man.
Andrew Baez says, good to see you again, Russ. Welcome back to the dystopian states of America.
Glad to be back.
Eric Rousseau says, when I traveled through Southeast Asia many years ago, I'd get real massages to get to the day's lactic acid out of my muscles. It helped a lot. Also cheap. Interesting. Didn't know that was the thing, Eric Rousseau. Thank you for that. Vienticus, Russ, is that the new version of the robot from the 1989 movie Loverboy? Anchovies, please. I never saw that one. Guess that's a Gen X thing.
I mean, when I have time over the weekend, I'm going to figure out how to get it hooked up because it's got to be hooked to ChatGPT for you to like interact with it.
Nice. Oh, George says, Russell, it's a good thing you're back. This guy was tardy at least once and used 2 excused absences. I mean, geez, Louise told him how difficult it was the first time. No big deal, I guess. Thank you, oh, George. Lara Hodge, wow. Haven't seen you in a while, Lara. Thanks for the chat. Welcome back, Russ. Keaton did a great job holding down the fort, but it just wasn't the same without you. Keep up the good work, both of you.
Thank you.
Vienticus says there's only a few countries left of the proposed North American technate that Trump hasn't mentioned making into a state yet. That's right. Abiding with Samson options still looming, Kitty Kelly and I have retreated to the bunker to finish Corn Pop Chronicles. Will be the perfect stocking stuffer to dissidenters if nuclear winter isn't first. Looking forward to that, Abiding. Thank you very much. Okay, I don't need StreamYard to ask me if I'm sure I want to delete the chats. You know, they have new features every week, and then they crashed last week. We almost had to cancel the show. A bunch of people had to cancel their streams because they were having problems. Yeah. Can't believe how excited I was for this podcast. Thank you, Nithir Wechter. You two are the Lennon and McCartney of podcasting. Great on your own, but amazing together. Well, thank you. Thanks for the laughs and for the news.
Thank you.
Thank you for that. Appreciate that. Kit's Corner, Due Dissidence is filmed live in front of a robotic studio audience. Curious, Russ, to know what cost of living and groceries are like. China, Tucker's video in Russia.
All right, so you want me to make you cry? Actually, the numbers I gave you were wrong. So I talked to a guy about what his electric bill was. It was in the summer when he's using his air conditioner. It was 7 yuan, which is about $1 a month. And then when he's not using his air conditioner, 7 yuan would last 3 months.
Wow.
Yeah. So basically there's no electric bill. This is why when people come to you and they'll say, yeah, do you know what Chinese people make a year? Yeah. And do you know what they pay for things? It's such a stupid, like, you do understand things don't cost the same.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
You get that, right?
Right.
Like,
no, that's something that people overlook.
Yeah. Like making 12,000 a year there doesn't mean what it means here, right? I talked to a Chinese guy who moved back from Canada because the cost of living relative to his wage was so much better in China.
Right. We got 2102 in the YouTube chat. All right, I know you've been waiting for this for a while. 871 in the like column. Awesome.
If I can get the robot to do that.
Yeah, we need that would be winning. That would be winning. What a lovely little Trojan robot Russ brought to the U.S. Haha, good one. Vienticus. So is RFK Jr. going to felch all the things going into Trump's ass over the years? Because now we got Winnie the Pooh's jar of honey up there. Thank you for that, Vienticus. Appreciate that. Cha Daddy says, welcome back, Russ. I can't hear Tulsi Gabbard's name without hearing the song I Touch Myself in my brain. Thanks, you bastard. Yeah, she was almost in the news. They said the CIA raided her office, and then the lady, what was it? Paulina Luna said it was fake or whatever, so we didn't bother covering it. Trump is kissing Chinese ass. Isn't that better than getting pissed on by Russians? Ha, good one. Good one. RE China actions speak louder. Thank you, Kuznetsky Bassane. Post Scarcity says, welcome back, Russ. Do the people with such bad social credit scores they can't do anything really exist in China? Did you see any of that?
Okay, so I asked around about this, and I got this same answer from more than one person, so I think it's probably true. So what this whole social credit score thing is, what I was told, I'm just passing it on. I can't confirm it. I don't have the language skills to really delve into it beyond asking people. I was told that that's if you owe a lot of money. Basically, they downgrade you so that you can't spend a lot of money taking like a fast train or a plane. Like you have to take the cheapest option, which means you're gonna be because you owe money, right? So, like, hey, is that like the state almost putting you in a digital debtor's prison? It's kind of funny for a communist country. Yeah. But as with most of these things we hear about, it sounds like it's greatly exaggerated from the reality. But usually I wouldn't go to the extreme of saying there's nothing that it's based on. This is what I got from more than one person.
Right.
Chinese person.
Yeah. Okay. I think what did I do there? Let me see. Can I get that? Can I get that? Can I copy that there? Okay, I did. Good. Okay. All right. What else we got over here? We got Kuznetsky Basing. Glad you're back, Russell. There you go. John Trevino, welcome back, Russell. Y'all's English is very good. Thank you.
Yeah, somebody's saying here, so it's a credit score. I mean, yeah. Like, yeah. More or less. I mean, obviously the credit companies can't stop you from spending money that you don't have, but they can stop you from getting more credit to do those things. So.
Right. So yeah, that's basically what a credit score is. Love from Bahrain. The world may be burning, but I'm just glad Russ is back. It's the little things. Stay safe out there in Bahrain.
Thank you.
Texas Real. How's that charger situation? What charger situation?
Yeah, I talked about it on my live stream. They took my favorite charger.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they're a little charger crazy over there. They're a little charger happy. They're a little nuts about that's going to cause a fire. These are chargers that I've flown all over the fucking world with, man. I mean, if this were happening everywhere, really, like nobody else has that issue. So then this is the thing. So they have a type of charger that they'll let you fly with. So they took my favorite charger. I understand that charger is in a work camp now, charging 100 phones a day and then studying communist theory at night. It's very sad. I'm trying to get them free. But I had to get the Chinese charger now. And okay, fine. But then I'm told, a Chinese person read this article to me, that in April 2027, you're not going to be allowed to have that either.
Oh, it's like Apple.
It's right? I mean, at that point, this is what I said. Like, look, you guys want more tourism, right? That's the kind of shit that people come home and bitch about.
Yeah.
Like, you can't, okay, fine. You have your own version that you feel is safe. I bought one of those, and that's what most people would do. Then you're going to take that away?
Yeah,
like, how would somebody who does what I do even travel there? Right?
Yeah.
Like, because you're using up so much battery filming, I have to constantly have access to a charger. Somebody said in my comments section, you can rent chargers all over China. Oh, yeah, no, a foreign tourist who doesn't speak Chinese is going to navigate that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you're going to figure out where to go rent a charger and return it. Yeah. That's very realistic.
Bret Baier should have done a segment on that.
To see that, I would have been with him on.
Would have been with him on. Hey, Russ, we're happy you're back. Keaton held it down like the champ that he is. Please tell us a favorite meal you had while in China. Says Roni Ventura.
You know what, man? Where had the best food? As you will see when my video drops. Xinjiang. Xinjiang, I thought, had the best food. Xinjiang. They have like a cold noodle soup that's like a specialty there that's very good. And also their indigenous flatbread is called nang. And it's really, I didn't expect much. It's really good. I thought the best food was there. Szechuan food, like real Szechuan food, they have a particular spice they put in that like numbs out your tongue.
Yeah, it can be very spicy.
Yeah, that stuff, man. Like it sounded good. But
Szechuan can be very spicy. That I know.
The way they give it to us here is not what they have there.
No. Did you see Trump said something like, they have more Chinese restaurants in America than all of the fast food chains combined? He was saying.
What did he say?
He says we have more Chinese restaurants in America than all the fast food restaurants combined. Welcome back. Well, somebody tweeted out, when is he going to ask to meet General Tsao? Yeah, he asked for a meeting with General Tsao. Welcome back, Russell Keaton. Great job holding it down while Russ was away. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. TDB21. All right, guys. We'll get to all your chats in due time. Thank you all very much for being here. Nice to see a great crowd today. All right, so Russ kicked things off with a big China segment as the red-blooded American of the group. We're going to now do a Kentucky segment. We're now going to do a segment about good old Kentucky, because Kentucky has a primary election coming up next week. And look at this. Thomas Massie's ex accuses him of hush money offer. Oh, my God.
Oh, no.
Would you look at that.
Oh, no. I knew it.
For Election Day. We knew it. A former girlfriend of Representative Thomas Massie accused him this week of offering her $5,000. This is such a stupid story. To drop a wrongful termination complaint against his close ally, Representative Victoria Spartz. Why it matters. Cynthia West's accusation surfaced a week before Massie's May 19th primary. President Trump is targeting the Kentucky Republican in what has become the most expensive U.S. House primary in history. West said she did not coordinate or communicate in any way with Trump's political operation and the campaign of Massie's primary opponent, Ed Gallrein. West said Massie's offer involved cash that he had previously given her during their relationship and that she later returned to him. West told Axios she broke her silence because she resented Massie for speaking about the need for transparency when it came to releasing the Epstein files. Even as she alleges, he attempted to silence her with cash when she accused an ally of his, Spartz, of wrongdoing. Yeah, no, that's a totally one-to-one comparison there, assuming this is even true, which I don't think it is. West worked in Spartz's office for about 6 weeks after Massie, West's boyfriend at the time, arranged it. After she broke up with Massie, West said she was fired by Spartz, who has a reputation as one of the worst bosses on the Hill, according to Legistorm. This March, according to a proposed agreement obtained by Axios, West was offered a $60,000 settlement in her wrongful termination complaint against Spartz, but it came with a non-disclosure agreement that West refused to sign. She said, this doesn't seem like a setup at all.
No.
So
no.
Jay tweets out, new Thomas Massie files. Cynthia West, ex-girlfriend of Thomas Massie, exposes him as a sexual deviant and bribed her with $5,000 cash to stay silent. Massie DM'd her on X in August 2024, not even 2 months after his wife of 31 years passed away in June 2024. Massie ended up getting her a congressional staffer job in D.C. Massie pressured her to be involved in deviant sexual behavior with him, which she never really specifies. What does he mean by deviant sexual behavior? Does he mean they had sex? I guess having sex with a woman is considered deviant in certain repressed parts of the country.
If you're MAGA.
He inserted his penile organ into her filthiest, foulest, slimiest, hairiest, most unholiest of places. A disgusting act by a despicable scoundrel.
Wow.
Unfit to lead the fine people of our great Commonwealth of Kentucky. Can you believe he'd do such a thing?
He made her slide a disgusting Dick Van Dyke Pez dispenser in her anus, sir.
All right, so let's hear from
the limited edition Mary Tyler Moore show.
Rumor has it he stole it from Lindsey Graham's office. Thought it smelled funny, did it anyway. All right, here's this victim here, Cynthia West.
Identify any evidence or
yeah.
identify witnesses?
Yeah.
Did you comply with all those requirements?
I did.
And in the course of filling out those documents, did you by any chance list Thomas Massie
I
as a
did.
potential witness?
I did, yes.
How did he react to that?
Well, out of courtesy, when I started the process, I called him up to let him know. And he was very angry. And he said, you're just one person, that you can't make a difference, that you need to just walk away. And then he had $5,000 that he said that he would give me if I could just walk
sound
away.
like a screenwriter wrote it, as you know. It
Yeah.
doesn't sound like bad made up dialogue or anything.
Oh, this gets
No,
even
yeah,
funny.
that's how people. Did he twirl his mustache while he
Yeah,
said it?
right.
You're just one person. You can't make a difference.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like a Frank Capra villain.
$1,000
very
that he
believable.
said that he would give me if I could just walk away. I didn't take it though.
Did he offer you a check?
No,
This is great. I love
he
this.
has cash, so it's part of his cow money, right? It's his non-traceable money.
Cow money.
No, wait a minute. You said it's part of his cow money?
Yeah, because he's got cows. He sells cows and he gets cash.
He sells cows. So you're alleging that this guy, this sitting congressman, runs an under the table black market cash only cow trafficking business?
Apparently.
That seems kind of difficult. That seems like kind of a difficult thing to keep going and keep secret. Show up in Lexington in a back alley behind the theater. All right, you got the 20K? Yeah, but I'm going to need to see the cow.
All right, boys, get Daisy out of the truck.
Shut that thing the fuck up. What seems to be going on here? Oh, officer, just nothing. Just two men, a bag, and a cow. Just enjoying the Thursday evening. Had a couple
Enjoying
mint
the night
juleps.
air.
Just
Have a little
enjoying
stroll.
the night air. Yeah. He sells cows for cash, and so he offered her $5,000 of his cow money.
See, and that's very ironic because the cash for cows turned out to be a Zionist operation, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly.
Keeps it kind of,
He doesn't report it?
no.
This is some fucking story they came up with at the last
So how did he
minute.
react when you wouldn't take the money and walk away?
Well, he was very angry at that conversation.
So he tried to bribe this woman out of a wrongful termination suit. You offer her $5,000, which what kind of bribe is that? $5,000 nowadays. I mean, you're going to settle for 10 times that, which apparently you should.
Right. Yeah.
So, like, you're gonna with undeclared income from your off the books cow selling operation. Wow, this is quite the story that they came up with here. Whoever did it, I got to give them credit for this. This is pretty funny. So of course this gets community noted. These allegations are unverified claims promoted by Eric Dieters, Massie's opponent in the 2024 Republican primary, who received 11.5% of the vote. So Thomas Massie does respond to this as it's sad that a week before this election, people are making false and unsubstantiated allegations about me in an obvious attempt to influence the outcome of this election. All of the claims of inappropriate conduct are false. I've never offered anyone money in exchange for their silence. I report all of my farm income, including cash, to the IRS. There are no ethics claims filed against me, nor have there ever been any claims filed against me in my 14 years in office. I have consulted legal counsel, and we are considering all options. Yeah, I mean, he's gonna sell cows for cash and not declare the income, Thomas Massie. I mean,
Right.
you really
Yeah.
expect people
Right.
to believe that that's the kind of racket he has going on. That's like the dumbest possible way you can try and make some extra money and hide it
He's
from
in
the government.
Congress. You can do insider trading with no consequences.
Yeah,
you freaking sell cows.
He's gonna hold all that inventory. Cows, gonna sell cows. for
Yeah,
cash.
listen. I only take cash.
Yeah, right. That's exactly. If somebody goes to buy a cow from you, they offer, okay, so can we give you a check? No, that's not going to work.
No, only cash.
Why not? No, cash. Cash
That's
only.
only.
How much is it? Figure 12,000.
Yeah, you're Thomas Massie. Yeah. Like a
That would be-
famous congressman you're running.
That would be some gangster shit if you were selling cows for cash and not declaring the income, I gotta say. Anyways, here's a video that she put out herself. Speaking the truth about powerful people comes with with a tax. I'm going up against the El Chapo of cows in Kentucky. It's a risky thing. Taking a lot of chances here. Here she is.
Cynthia West, and I believe it is important to speak up and hold those in power accountable. I will not be silenced. I will never back down, and I will never stop fighting for what is right. Yes,
I'm standing up to the Appalachian cow cartels that have been running this country for too long.
Massie and I had a personal relationship. That's not a secret, and I'm not going to pretend otherwise. But things dramatically changed. The relationship ended, and I experienced conduct that I believe was inappropriate,
Like what?
intimidating, and designed to silence me. Since speaking publicly, I faced political retaliation, personal attacks, and coordinated
Political retaliation. She's running for school board, by the way, this woman. That's a political retaliation. What? Your daughter's bake sale lobby is coming for you? They're withholding their endorsement because of this?
efforts to
For the
discredit
school
me.
board?
Frankly, that reaction says more about the culture of power and intimidation in politics
Notice she didn't
than
say
it
what he
does
did.
about me. Here's what I know.
Somebody
Transparency and
rang my
accountability.
doorbell the other day. I came out. There were 340 copies of Pippi Longstocking out. And I didn't order them.
A guy with gelled hair dropped off 25 boxes, 25 cases of Girl Scout cookies. Said that'll be $800. She said, I didn't order them. He said, yes, you did.
Cannot only apply when it's politically convenient. The same people
He had a
who
cow
demand the
behind
truth
him.
from everyone else cannot suddenly hide behind attacks and intimidation when the questions are directed at them. I am running for school board in Okaloosa County because I believe leadership
board.
should protect people, not pressure them into silence, whether that's in Congress or on the school board. The most important thing is transparency and accountability.
You're running for
And
school
no
board in a
amount of
town no one's ever
backlash
heard of.
is going to deter me from standing up for what I believe is right. Speaking out against powerful people, it's uncomfortable. It's difficult, but doing the right thing often is. My name is Cynthia West. I'm running for school board, and I will always stand up to bullies.
Oh.
And you can always count on me to tell
This is the most intense school board campaign in the history of America. I got to tell you, my dad ran for school board a few times, and he didn't even do shit like this. That is a pretty. She is a pretty ambitious would-be school board member there. Imagine running against her. Holy shit!
So listen, me and my friends here, you're running for school board. Maybe we could help each other out.
Yeah, right.
You heard of Thomas Massie, right?
This is what they came up with a week before Election Day. Lots of platitudes and zero actual claims. Yeah, notice she didn't say what behavior, what he did to her, what he said to make her feel uncomfortable. Really no specifics at all to any of what she's saying. Lots of platitudes and zero actual claims, says friend of show Clint Russell. What are you even claiming he did? It seems like you don't want to make any actual claims because you'll get sued into oblivion for lying. Yeah, that could be it. Like if you say he did something that he obviously didn't do. Good luck in your school board race. I'll be praying for those students if you win. Yikes. So Anya Parampil points out Thomas Massie's 11th hour accuser, Cynthia West, is not a private citizen, but a woman with political ambition currently running for school board in Okaloosa County, Florida. Her campaign reports a whopping $82,000 in funds for a school board run. Once again, my father ran for school board. I don't think he spent $50 on his school board run. You show up to the debate and you hope they vote for you. He did not win. He did not win. He was too extreme for the school board, as some may have figured. Tens of thousands more than comparable candidates. Her opponents report zero. Yeah, who spends any money on a school board election?
Right. Yeah.
$65,000
like
of
a
this.
dog catcher race.
Yeah, it's a dog catcher race. 65,000. It's like a glorified PTA member. 65,000 of this came in the form of a loan from West herself. What do people think of that? So Stephen Doan says, as a family attorney who has represented numerous victims of domestic violence, I've been deeply troubled by the circulating sworn statement from Cynthia West alleging emotional abuse by Congressman Thomas Massie. After listening to the statement twice, I was struck by the complete absence of any specific verifiable allegations. There were no claims of physical abuse, no harassing communications, no documented threats, and no evidence of any kind. Only vague assertions without supporting facts that surface a week before primary day. Out of professional duty, I examined the available record. Ms. West has a documented history of making false abuse allegations. Notably, during the very period she claims to have been involved with Congressman Massie, she filed sworn accusations of emotional and physical abuse against the father of her children. On October 1st, 2024, she swore under oath in an affidavit to these claims. However, after the court reviewed all the evidence, the allegations were dismissed in full. The lawyer asking her the questions, Marcus Carey, lost to Thomas Massie in a congressional race as well. He claims West is under oath in the Commonwealth of Kentucky. An oath must be administered by a neutral third party. There is no third party in the video. Further, a lawyer asking the questions cannot put someone under oath should they seek to introduce it in court. It's a misdemeanor. The whole thing is a setup intended to look like a sworn statement. So Victoria Sparks, Massie's friend in Congress, says, due to numerous requests from the media, Representative Sparks issued the following statement regarding Ms. West's allegations against Representative Massie and Representative Sparks' office. Representative Sparks has never heard of an alleged $5,000 settlement proposal or any other settlement proposal by Representative Massie regarding allegations Ms. West brought against Representative Sparks' office. The first time Representative Sparks heard these accusations by Ms. West against Representative Massie was a few days ago in Ms. West's public video. But if you look, the polls are starting to tighten, and the odds markets, quote unquote, are starting to look a little fishy. So Polymarket says just in, Thomas Massie's re-election odds are tanking amid hush money allegations from an ex-girlfriend. He's now projected to be unseated. Marjorie Taylor Greene comes to his defense and says there was no hush money offered to the jealous Mrs. Massie wannabe. Thomas Massie is just being dishonestly smeared because his primary is next week and foreign money billionaires are trying to buy Kentucky's 4th district. Younger voters get out the vote and beat the spoon-fed Fox News viewers. That's right. Trisha Hope says they create the false story, then buy Polymarket shares. It's predictive programming. The ad buys didn't work. That's the thing. You can manipulate the odds and create negative momentum if you have enough rich fucks placing bets for woke Hitler there, as Massie should be referring to him, Ed Goldrein. So Clint Russell says the same thing. Someone pumped serious money to flip the betting markets, and now they are paying to advertise the latest odds. This is a high-level, heavily funded Miriam Adelson and AIPAC op, clear as day. Yeah, see, now they're buying ads with the Polymarket odds, having tanks, trying to create a negative PR campaign. New frontrunner from Kalshi, Ed Goldrein, now leads Thomas Massie for the first time in Kentucky 4th District Republican primary and has a 55% chance to win. Red, White, and Blue says, do we have a true constitutional republic with representation for the constituents or an oligarchy where the highest funded candidate by a foreign lobby wins the seat? Vote Massie or the republic is toast. Ed Goldrein, $6,712,277 from Israel-affiliated PACs and individuals, and that's obsolete. Now it's up to $9.8 million. I saw one that had it up over $11 million. Look at the money they're pouring into this race, and look at some of the polls here. Now, we could take these with a grain of salt, or we can take them seriously, but the polls have tightened, and Massie was just on Jimmy's show the other day where he says his internal polls have him up, but only by a handful of points. So what we do know is that this race has tightened significantly, with Goldrein actually leading him in the polls as of the Qantas Insight poll. Now, I do not know the reputability of that. But it does look like a close race. And once again, not to be excessive about the boomers here, but if you look, the younger you are, the more pro-Massie you are. The older you are, the more Fox News prone you are, the more likely you are to vote for Ed Gallrein. Now, I just have to jump the gun a little bit and give my take here before I show you this last exhibit. This is a situation where obviously the system is very corrupt. Obviously, you have AIPAC pouring tons of money into this race. Obviously, you have dirty tricks being pulled at the last minute. But if you believe in self-governance, which I do at the end of the day, then you have to hold people to a certain standard. And I'm sorry. What's that?
It's a bold position.
It's a bold position on this show now. I represent half of the opinion now. But if you believe in self-governance, you have to hold people to a certain minimum standard. And I'm sorry, yes, we can talk all day about the corruption and the special interest money and the brainwashing. At the end of the day, Kentucky's 4th district, the voters, this one's on you guys. This one's on you guys. I'm sorry. Like, if you cannot see through this bullshit, and you can, because daddy doesn't like Thomas Massie, vote for Ed Gallrein, clearly being propped up by every special interest group, including, most importantly, by what should be a foreign lobby, then yeah, this one is on you. This one is all on you. And it seems to be a lowest common denominator type of race and a lowest common denominator type of district. No offense, but, you know, when this country voted for George W. Bush in 2004, I was like, you know what? I'll never trust the American people to do the right thing in a polling place ever again. And just case in point, here are the pro-Massie ads that they are closing with.
Hang on, and you're the pro self-governance part of the coalition here?
I believe in it as an aspiration. I do. And we can talk about that. But it's not working out very well. This is the pro-Massie ad. Now, to be clear, this was a PAC. This is a pro-Massie PAC that put this out. This was not the Massie campaign. But remember how Massie attacked Ed Gallrein as being funded by, like, socially liberal wokesters?
Yeah.
Look at this fucking ad. Look at what they're closing on. This is the pro-Massie people. You can close on, if you had a civilized society, you would close on AIPAC. You would close on the Iran war. You could close on the Epstein files. You could close on data centers, real issues affecting large swaths of the population where there's overwhelming opinion on one side, Massie's side. This is what they decide to close with, the pro-Massie PAC that Ed Gallrein is bought and paid for by the gay mafia. That's right, the gay mafia.
Bought and paid for by the LGBTQ mafia. Far-left trans activist billionaire Paul Singer is bringing his trans madness to Kentucky. Singer is spending millions to remove Massie. The gay mafia will own Woke Eddie.
And over a period of time, I and my team became quite friendly with legacy gay rights groups, including hardcore Democrats.
Paul Singer is a major pro-gay, pro-trans activist who works with far-left hardcore Democrats.
And so I became very...
Again, you can close on AIPAC, you can close on Epstein, you can close on Iran. They choose to close with Ed Gallrein sucks trans cock. Do you trust him in the 4th District of Kentucky? Wow.
I mean, given the voting base they're dealing with, it might not be a bad pitch.
Exactly. Well, no, I'm sure it's not a bad closing pitch. And this is what I'm talking about. Like, this is why I say, ultimately, this is on you, Kentucky. This is really a reflection of who you are. And so far, not good.
In being a funder of gay rights groups.
Gallrein doesn't share our Kentucky values. He is with the weirdos.
And Gallrein values are freak values.
He's with the weirdos.
Look, Gallrein values are freak values.
Our Kentucky values. He is with the weirdos. And if Gallrein wins, the weirdos take over. On May 19th, say no to woke Eddie Gallrein and his billionaire club of LGBTQ weirdos. Re-elect Thomas Massie for Kentucky, for America. Restore Freedom PAC is a project of Hold the Line PAC. Hold the Line PAC is responsible for the contents of this advertisement.
Right, so that
Eddie
is not
Gallrein.
Massie's ad, to be clear, but those are the pro-Massie factions making their closing argument. What a country. What a country. Well, hey, Kentucky, hope you do the right thing. Hope you vote for Thomas Massie. Not for that reason, whatever the fuck that was. But hey, ball's in your court. Ganook is Ganook, as my grandfather would say.
Yeah, I'm sorry, man. I don't know how you look at that and make an argument for self-governance. The idea that you have anything like a democracy is absurd, and that in and of itself is an argument against self-governance, because what became of it? Like if indeed you ever had it, and I think you can legitimately, kind of unquestionably argue, you never had it for everybody. You had a certain amount of it for a few specific privileged groups in the society, but you never really had it as a broad-based, effective means of getting the government to respond to the public. I mean, the real difference, the perspective I got being over in China, then coming back here, or thinking about it from over there, the difference is they let you cosplay as somebody who gets to make decisions about the government. You can say fuck Trump, right? Okay. Right. So what does that get you? Right? And no matter who you vote for, you get
it gets you a podcast.
Gets your podcast. It does.
So that's worth something around here.
But not, it's like this is the flaw in neoliberalism, right? Not everyone can be an architect. Like, even if you went with the meritocracy theory of everyone who does well in school should do well. If everyone did well in school, you would very quickly, overproduce elites. You could argue you've kind of already done that, right? Like, there's just not enough of those jobs to go around. So I would argue there are a lot more people saying fuck Trump than there are room for podcasters. So even that's not a reasonable, viable career path.
This is a tough racket here. This is not for anybody.
It's not for everybody. Yeah. But they give you, I mean, this is not a revelation, but it's just the idea that you have some kind of control over a government that doesn't do anything that the people want. Anything. Not at all. Nothing. And it doesn't matter who's in power. Like, yeah, are there differences? Do I think Kamala would have sent out the Gestapo to shoot VA nurses in the head? No. Do I think she would have gotten on board with federal legislation to take away people's kids if they don't want to trans them? Quite possibly. Sure. You have these, very narrow areas where you can fight it out, and it'll make a difference which of these wings of one establishment oligarchy party you pick. But overall, man, like, would Harris have gotten into war in Iran? Probably. I think yes. I think it would have been like a different path to it. But I think probably because Israel wanted it, and they're all owned by the same people. So all of this stuff, like, yeah, I mean, Massey's a straight arrow. He's a Boy Scout. Why is that election even close? Why is it even close? Like, that's an argument for the idea. This is really what the Chinese have gone with. You can't have capital running rampant in your society and then expect people to make rational decisions about how they're going to vote, because that money is going to throw up so much smoke that people just don't even know what the hell day it is. That is what's going on in this country, man. You look at the conversation, you look at the discourse. No people on earth are this fucking crazy and sick. Nobody acts like this. Nobody acts like this. Nobody. Like, that ad, pretty much anywhere else you go, like, it would be unintelligible. Like, what is that? What is that? Like, people, the way that Americans act, most people around the world would be embarrassed to act that way. Like, they would consider it very undignified to act like an American. It would be embarrassing to you.
Well, that's the saying, a republic if you can keep it, right? And the way you can't keep it without restraining the power and influence of the richest,
which in the end you can't do.
Right. Now, well, I mean, I don't want to say you can't do it within a model of self-governance. That is the challenge, right? And that is the aspiration. You know, we had Derek Bros on while you were away, and he talks about agorism and voluntarism, and this is where, you know, I guess a certain market anarchism would be the purest form of that, but, you know, left libertarianism, whatever. What you aspire to is to raise a level of consciousness to the point where people voluntarily, through free will and exercise of free choice, collectivize in order to restrain capital and work together, right? This is a utopian vision, as I think most pure political theories are. That is appealing to me, more appealing to me than enlisting people in a certain group, irrespective of their will. Of course, all of this is just in the air, right? None of it actually maps onto the minute-to-minute reality. It's all theory at the end of the day, and all theory is interrupted by real life because real life is random and surprising and disorganized and unpredictable. And so I do believe in self-governance as an ideal. To say we've lived up to it is an absurdity. And like I said, I felt that way since 2004. I was like, how the fuck can you go into it? But how the fuck can you reelect this man after 9/11 and then invading a country that had nothing to do with it? And you got people walking around this country, oh, if John Kerry wins, they're going to be knocking buildings down everywhere. I'm sorry. Like, you're not up to it. You're not up to it. You're just not up to it. It says, I wish we were. I really do. I think it's a great vision. It's a vision I believe in, but obviously we are not up to it at the moment. And to me, the challenge and what's rewarding about participating in discourse is to try and bring us up to it as best I can before my time is up on this earth.
I mean, in this country, you need the equivalent of, you know, something you've seen at rare moments in history. And, you know, I don't mean this literally, but you would need something that would shift consciousness the way a religious revival does to actually do anything about this.
Well,
Like,
you know, we do have a merch store.
There is that. You have to completely shift the consciousness.
Yes,
of the
of course.
country. Like, you have to completely change the way people think.
Of course. Of course. Well, you know, it all starts with good merch. So maybe we should come up with that.
That's where it starts.
That's where it starts.
I just ordered some. I ordered some shirts
See,
that
it all
not
starts with
only are
good
going to
merch.
be great on the show, they're going to be great for baiting Zionists in New York.
There you go.
Like, I'm gonna get some really good footage of Yentas having a meltdown at the shirts I just ordered.
All right. Let's move right on along. You want to take some super chats?
Sure. All right, Vientos Prime. I was watching this video about China's economic downturn, and according to the video, people were saying their bosses had become the capitalists they were fighting against. I mean, look, it's a country of 1.4 billion people. I'm sure you could cherry pick some people who feel that way. The overall tone that I got in the country, you can see when people fucking are unhappy. When people hate the government. That's not what's going on there, man. That's not what's going on. Do some Chinese people feel like they're overworked? Yeah. Like, there's this 996 thing, you know, working 9 hours a day, 6 days a week, 9 to 9, right? Some of them work that way, and it's an issue, especially for younger people. But you'll see. I'm going to show you some video on Sunday that, to me, demonstrates pretty clearly that Chinese people support the government, because you have to remember where they're coming from. They're coming from poverty. They're coming from a long period of poverty. So they're pretty overall happy with what the government has done in a society of 1.4 billion. Listen, in terms of the economic decline stuff, oh my God, man. I mean, that's a whole genre. That's a genre like the genre of the stock market's going to crash next month. Like the genre of China's economy is about to implode. I mean, it's a perennial, man. Like that's you can find articles like that going back 10 years. You'll find articles like that. It's just one of those things. So that's kind of, it's meaningless. Satanica. Russ gets travelers PTSD. I mostly just get travelers diarrhea. I don't get PTSD. I will say that this was a very physically taxing trip. And like, it's like your body knows when it can collapse, because I didn't feel this way when I was there. And like, all of a sudden, like everything that was being held back so I could get through the trip, like hit me when I got home.
Right.
You can hear like my voice, like I'm all messed up. Yo, shush. Taiwan, number 1. China, number 9. Number 9. I didn't get that. Am I missing something?
I don't think so.
Dendrobates. Keaton, I don't know who this guest you've got on today is, but I like the cut of his jib. You should have him on more often, unless he's a nerd. Guilty as charged. I am a big old nerd going way back. Millraven. Taiwan has always been China's solution to capitalism. Taiwan became rich selling the communist mainland's production to the West after the revolution. I mean, look, in the end, part of what I got over there is, yeah, they're not going to let that go, you know. Like, at best, they're not going to be satisfied until they have a Hong Kong arrangement. You know, one country, two systems, where still it belongs to them. That's the least they're going to settle for. EO Shush. Russ, do you want to comment on how your 4-month communist propaganda tour got exposed by the great investigative journalist Nick Silva
Yeah.
and his trip to Cuba? You know, I was in 2 communist countries out of 5. Yep. Oh, no, Laos too. And then Cambodia, I never quite got clear. Like, I think the elected party is a communist party, but I don't think it's like state communism in the way that Vietnam or China are. Like, they don't fly like the hammer and sickle like the communist countries do. Like Laos flies the hammer and sickle.
Right.
Peter 1VE. Frank Lloyd Wright's Fallingwater house is beautiful, but every 20 years they spend a fortune trying to stop the roof leaks. Yeah, well, you know, price of genius. You know where they have some of the best Frank Lloyd Wright architecture? Buffalo. Buffalo has some beautiful Frank Lloyd Wrights. Eric Rousseau, Keaton, America's still building. We are building big, beautiful data centers.
That's right.
Exactly. We build things that don't benefit the people. Dendrobates, the most beautiful thing in America is the beef, and China's is weak.
China's is weak.
It's weak. Freddie X, testing new payment method. Welcome back, Russ. Free the Hormuzians.
Is that new payment? What do you mean new payment method? Is that your new payment method on your card, or did you sign up for the Rumble wallet? Did you sign up for Rumble wallet? You should. If you didn't.
Mobilize. Can you interview Jeffrey Sachs about Fort Detrick lab leak timeline, then military games in Wuhan, then the COVID outbreak in Wuhan, CIA COVID whistleblower? Welcome back, Russ. WD holding it down, Keaton. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't think Jeffrey Sachs is going to come on our show, to be honest with you. I hate to tell you. Kuznetsky's saying we don't have enough numbers for him. We need socialism with American characteristics. We're in a weird position. You know, it's funny, man, when you're like new whippersnappers, people feel like they're, you know, let's be nice to the kids. They're a new channel, right? We've been around too long for that, and we don't have big enough numbers for the amount of time we've been around to get those guests. No, it's true. It's true. I feel like it was almost easier to get guests like that.
Easier when you're small. Yeah, because then they look like nice guys for going on.
Exactly. Now they don't have that motive.
No.
Pete Sweet. China didn't cheat. They were given the goose that lays the golden eggs. Labor, willingly by corporations for short-term profit. Capitalists will sell us the rope that will hang them. Lenin. All right. I guess I'll do one more.
Yeah, go ahead.
Stray cat in the streets. Welcome back, Mr. Dobrar. We miss you, Mr. Keaton. Very good. Mr. Kit, too. Mr. Jimmy. He say you make boom boom with Ladyboy. Wake up and one kidney.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know,
I
didn't. Yeah, that's why I'm tired. All those lady boys.
And one kidney.
And one kidney. Yeah. You know, you can live a full life with just one though.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It went to a good cause. I'm sure whoever got it needs it more than you.
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right, let's move right on along, shall we?
All right, we're doing the next one.
Yeah.
No, my next one.
Yeah.
Okie doke. All right, hang on. Let me assume the position here. All right.
No, we're doing the last one over again.
We're doing. Let's do it. Let's do that one.
Do
again.
the previous one.
I like that one.
Yeah.
I feel like we didn't quite nail it.
Yeah, we're gonna try that one
Do it
again.
better.
We did at the beginning. Yeah.
This time with feeling.
Yeah.
All right. So as you might have heard, look, I was pretty surprised because frankly, I have been on the dog grape beat. We covered that. I did that story. I think while I was overseas. I was pretty surprised that the Times had the stones to even run that. Like, yeah, they ran it in the opinion section, but I was damn surprised that they covered that. But here you go. Nicholas Kristof put out this article, "The Silence That Meets the Grape of Palestinians." We're gonna go to the video. They put out an Instagram video that kind of summed up pretty well what the article's about. So let's take a look. Now, also keep in mind, because we're going to get into the Zio meltdown, the predictable Zio meltdown. They clearly really went out of their way here to credit the atrocity claims about October 7th that the New York Times itself had to back down from with their own article. He presents that right at the top, completely uncritically, gives total credibility to these unproven claims of sexual assault on October 7th. But you know, that's why you should never compromise with Zionists. It's never enough. It's 100% for them or nothing. You know, you cannot deviate from the party line in any way. All right, let's take a look at this.
Was attacked on October 7th, 2023. Officials were quick to condemn the sexual violence of Hamas.
You've heard of the rape of Israeli women? Where the hell are you?
Women raped, assaulted, paraded as trophies.
Uses rape as a weapon of war.
Sexual violence as a weapon of war by Hamas.
I went to the West Bank to talk with Palestinians who experienced sexual assault firsthand by Israeli soldiers, settlers, and prison guards. Their harrowing accounts, backed by lawyers, surveys, and international reports, suggest that sexual violence by Israelis against Palestinians is widespread. And that raises the question, where is the revulsion against sexual assault now? I don't see any evidence that Israeli leaders order rape, but they have built a security apparatus where, according to a 2025 United Nations report, sexual violence is a major element in the ill treatment of Palestinians. Prime Minister Netanyahu has called accusations of sexual violence by Israelis baseless, but my reporting suggests that sexual violence has greatly worsened under Netanyahu in recent years. What exactly does this look like? Here's what I found. This is Sameh Al-Sai, a freelance journalist for international news organizations.
اصطحبوني لزنزانة انفرادية. في الزنزانة الانفرادية هاي وأنا مقيد الإجرين والإيدين ومغطى الأعين. رموني على الأرض بوضعية السجود وانتزع. اصطحبوني لزنزانة انفرادية. في الزنزانة الانفرادية هاي وأنا مقيد الإجرين.
Let me, sorry guys, let me bring down the volume some so you can hear me read it. All right. Gotta blow it up so I can see it. All right. While handcuffed, leg cuffed, and blindfolded, they put me on the ground in kneeling position with head down. They took off my pants and boxers and started graping me with sticks and carrots. In a very aggressive and painful way, and harassing and touching my genitals in a very painful and forceful way.
I spoke to a farmer who recounted how 20 settlers rampaged through Palestinian homes and used a hunting knife to cut off his clothes.
I got out of the tent. I was standing right here. They pulled me inside. They used those zip ties, tied my hands with more than one zip tie. They tied my legs too, hit me in the eye with a fist. They pulled me inside right here and started pouring dirt on me and water. They took off my pants and zip-tied my penis and started pulling it.
The zip ties were still on the ground when I visited. And this is Mohammed Matar, a Palestinian Authority official, who says he was with 2 other Palestinians trying to protect a Bedouin village under attack from settlers. When the settlers seized them, stripped them, beat them, and he says one tried to rape him with a stick. And he actually has some evidence of this interaction with the settlers in the form of a photo that the settlers posted to social media. One woman, 23 at the time of her detention, told me that she was regularly stripped naked, forcibly bent over, and groped all over her body by male and female guards. One journalist said he had been held down and raped by a dog, a claim backed by other accounts from prisoners who report they underwent the same thing. I'm appalled by this pattern of abuse, partly because our American tax dollars subsidize the Israeli security forces. I fear that leaves us complicit. The United States has leverage, and we could use it to insist on an end to the impunity and to demand that Red Cross visits be restored for Palestinian detainees. Look, whether you consider yourself pro-Israeli or pro-Palestinian, here's one thing we should be able to agree on. We're anti-rape. The horrific abuse inflicted on Israeli women on October 7th now happens to Palestinians day after day after day.
Which again, look, he's given them that. He's apparently, this is a beat of his. Sexual assault in conflict zones. He should know that they have produced no actual evidence of that. Maybe he's doing that in order to steel man his argument. I don't know, but it's not good enough. There's no point in compromising with them. There's no point. They're going to come for you, come after you with everything they got, no matter what. If
well, especially
you
since his
deviate
paper,
from the party line.
His own paper had to pull back some claims that were printed. Yeah.
So David Schuster here, hearing from longtime friends at the New York Times, there are already discussions, including up the masthead, about retracting Nick Kristof column, issues with source credibility and lack of evidence. No indication the Kristof sourcing mistakes were deliberate. Still problematic.
Ridiculous. Fucking ridiculous. Not to cut you off, but just so everybody knows, this guy's been with the Times since the 80s. This is not his first week on the beat. This guy's been doing this for over 40 years. Okay. So whether you like him, don't like him ideologically, he's definitely a pro. I don't think he'd run this unless he was pretty sure of his shit.
And the New York Times, to their credit, are standing by the story. There is no truth to this. This is their statement. There is no truth to this at all. Nicholas Kristof is a 2-time Pulitzer Prize-winning journalist who has reported on sexual violence for decades and is widely regarded as one of the world's best on-the-ground reporters documenting and bearing witness to sexual abuse experienced by women and men in war and conflict zones. He traveled to the region to report firsthand on the stories of Palestinians who suffered abuse, and his article collects accounts in the victim's own words, backed by independent studies. You got the people being interviewed right there in the video. They are so racist, so offhandedly racist. By saying there's no credible accounts, they're saying Palestinians aren't credible, right? Like what he literally got some of them to come forward and show their faces. So what's not credible? Right there. You have credible witnesses, unless you just don't believe Palestinians.
Yeah. Some random woman can come forward and say Thomas Massie sold her a cow or whatever.
Right. And sold her a cow, and then told her to do things she doesn't want to discuss with that cow.
And Axios runs it. Yeah.
the Israel Foreign Ministry. Today, the New York Times chose to publish one of the worst blood libels ever to appear in the modern press. They love that one. For anyone who doesn't know. So, in the medieval period in particular, this idea that Jews use Christian blood to make their matzah was part of the anti-Semitic trope. We generally like to use the blood of Asians. That was what they always got wrong about that.
I eat the unsalted matzah, so there is no blood. The blood's too salty.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. That's the thing. Jews don't like it. A lot of them have high blood pressure.
Yeah, it's bad for your blood pressure.
Yeah, it's bad for your blood pressure. It's an unfathomable inversion of reality. And through an endless stream of baseless lies, propagandist Nicholas Kristof turns the victim into the accused. Israel, whose citizens were the victims of the most horrific sexual crimes committed by Hamas on October 7th, and whose hostages were later subjected to further sexual abuse when they returned to Israel and were sexually assaulted by our nation full of perverts and rapists avoiding prosecution in their own countries, is portrayed as the guilty party. That really happened, by the way, as many of you probably know. One of the hostages was then assaulted by her personal trainer when she got back to Israel. She wound up saying, "I was safer with Hamas." This publication is no coincidence. It is part of a false and well-orchestrated anti-Israel campaign aimed at placing Israel on the UN Secretary General's blacklist. Israel will fight these lies with the truth, and the truth will prevail. Oh, yeah. The deeply anti-Zionist New York freaking Times is trying to set Israel up. We have two friends of the show here responding to this. Michael Rechtenwald, no evidence of grape on October 7th. Meanwhile, Israelis rioted for the right to grape. You people are sick, and that is absolutely true. We covered that at the time. They rioted when they arrested the reservists who were caught on camera assaulting the Palestinian man in their infamous prison there. Janine Eunice, the fact that you provide no evidence to refute the claims is telling. Moreover, you don't appear to comprehend the distinction between people and countries. People of all backgrounds can commit and be victims of sexual assault. Countries cannot. Yep, they like to conflate these things. And here from Dan, to all the irate Israel apologists, note that in this one story, Kristof provides 4 named victims with first-person accounts of sexual abuse by Israel. That is 4 more than have ever been produced for the October 7th purported grapes. It's true. Sangita Miska, the attacks leveled at Nick Kristof for his column are almost unprecedented. He's been accused of blood libel, unsubstantiated alleged smears by New York Times staff, and a huge online pile-on. At this point, New York Times needs to stand by its journalism and issue a statement in support of Kristof. And Glenn Greenwald quote tweeted that. Literally nothing could produce the kind of vicious backlash against the New York Times and Nick Kristof other than a report reflecting poorly on Israel. Go look at the people and groups in the U.S. leading the multi-day meltdown. They care about very little other than Israel. Yes. So the Times, hey man, sticking by their guns. Credit where credit is due. Nicholas Kristof's deeply reported piece of opinion journalism starts with a proposition to readers. Whatever our views of the Middle East conflict, we should be able to unite in condemning grape. He draws together on-the-record accounts and cites several analyses documenting the practice of sexual violence and abuse conducted by various parts of Israel's security forces and settlers. The accounts of the 14 men and women he interviewed were corroborated with other witnesses whenever possible, and with people the victims confided in. That includes family members and lawyers. Details were extensively fact-checked with accounts further cross-referenced with news reporting, independent research from human rights groups, surveys, and in one case with UN testimony. Independent experts were consulted on the assertions in the piece throughout reporting and fact-checking. Yeah, see, this is what's crazy. If you have any Zionists in your life, I don't really have any left, but when I did, it's amazing to talk to them. It really is no different from dealing with somebody in Scientology. It really isn't, man. Like, it doesn't matter what you say. The idea that all of these organizations, including the New York Times, which has a history of being strongly pro-Israel, if anything, the UN, Doctors Without Borders, Bet Salem, that they're all driven by anti-Semitism. It's crazy. It's crazy. But they actually believe that because they have to. They have to. But that's so patently nuts. Yeah, no, Doctors Without Borders. Yeah, no, they hate Jews. Yeah.
That's an Israeli organization. It's an Israeli
It's an
group.
Israeli organization. Well, for them, they'll say capos, right?
Yeah.
David Frum, one of the worst scumbags in the media, one of the architects of the Iraq War. Meanwhile, the Jewish... See, this is a good example of how you don't have a democracy. People like David Frum, why are they in the public sphere? Because people with money keep them there. Who wants to hear from David Frum? Mark Levin. Nobody watches Mark Levin. He's financed. Probably part of that Israeli propaganda budget goes to Mark Levin to keep him on the air. Nobody watches Mark Levin. Who the fuck cares what Mark Levin says? Meanwhile, the Jewish rape dogs hoax has been refuted not because it's a slur against Jews, but because the American Kennel Club attests it's an impossibility for dogs. No, it isn't. So Mehdi Hassan responded, was it an anti-Semitic slur also against Klaus Barbie, the Nazi commander who was accused of using a dog to sexually assault Jews and resistance fighters during World War II? Or against Hosni Mubarak, who used dogs to grape Egyptian prisoners, according to journalist Lawrence Wright. And hey, don't take that reporting as a given. Listen to what Israelis say themselves. If you go into their media, they talk about things like this openly. They're very proud of it. So here is an IDF soldier boasting about what dogs do to Palestinians on TV. The audience thinks it's very funny. You showed up with a weapon. You showed up with a dog. Who is this dog? This dog is Django. These motherfuckers, they always talk so goddamn fast. This dog is Django. He's with me on every military activity, with me in the reserves. He was in Gaza, a hilltop dog, we should say. That's what my mom calls me, by the way, Django. Yeah? Took care of some Nukbas in Sid Timon. That's their torture dungeon there. I'm probably saying it wrong, but did a lot. Don't say things that there is a video already. He's referencing the sexual assault video. Don't say things, right? There's a video. So long story short, right there, man, on TV. And the announcer said, hey, don't say it. Don't say it.
Yeah, that's like the Stephen Colbert, Jon Stewart exchange over the lab leak. That's like their equivalent of that.
Right. Yeah. Don't say it here on TV. Whoa. We've already got a video out there.
Yeah.
All right. And there are many examples of this on Israeli TV. Like Israeli society is arguably the sickest society in the history of the freaking world, and I include Nazi Germany in that. They regularly, as you will see, because Zateo put together a very good compilation, they regularly go on TV and express absolute genocidal mania, usually to the great laughter of studio audience and hosts. So, 5 minutes later, Daily Mail, full depravity of Hamas during October 7th, revealed for the first time. New report details how terrorists performed almost unimaginable horrors upon Israeli families. Yeah, it's not working anymore, guys. All right, so Drop Site had kind of the best summation of this piece of transparent propaganda that dropped right after this. So we're going to read it because it's worth debunking all of this since they're trying so hard to put it out there right now. The day after New York Times Christoph documented systematic Israeli rape of detained Palestinians, CNN, AP, BBC, and New York Times gave largely uncritical coverage to an unverifiable Israeli report. One day after New York Times columnist Nicholas Kristof published a meticulously sourced investigation drawing on 14 survivors, the UN, and several international rights groups documenting systematic rape and sexual torture of Palestinian prisoners, the Times, along with other major media outlets, published largely uncritical coverage of a new report by the Civil Commission, an Israeli NGO claiming Hamas committed systematic sexual violence on October 7th. The underlying archive behind the Israeli report, which was covered by a wide range of outlets, including the AP, CNN, BBC, and New York Times, is entirely sealed. Only AP disclosed that its findings could not be independently verified. CNN acknowledged that it, quote, has not been able to verify all of the contents of the archive, although it claimed it has seen many of the visual materials included in it. The New York Times noted the archive was closed, quote, to protect the privacy of victims, without clarifying what that means for verification. The BBC likewise made no disclosure about whether it had reviewed or verified the sealed archive, writing only that, quote, its evidence, which is being kept in a secure archive, may aid future prosecutions. Not one of the New York Times, CNN, or BBC reports stated whether they had independently verified any of the report's findings that they published in their own articles. The report was led by Kochav Elkayem Levy, former co-pilot of the Millennium Falcon, who is both the founder and chair of the Civil Commission. She has faced serious allegations to her credibility over her previous investigations into claims of systemic sexual violence by Hamas on October 7th. In 2024, Israel's largest newspaper, Yedioth Aharonoth, published a damning expose in which Israeli government officials said her, quote, methodology was neither good nor accurate, and that people have dissociated themselves from her because her research is inaccurate. If you follow Max Blumenthal and Aaron Mate, Gray Zone has done a lot of reporting about this woman and her unsavory history. Officials were particularly incensed that she spread the debunked claim originating with Yossi Lando of Zaka that a pregnant woman was found with her womb cut open. Quote, slowly professionals began distancing themselves from her because she was not reliable, one Israeli official said. Elkayem Levy even presented an old image of dead female Kurdish fighters as women sexually assaulted at the Nova Music Festival during a Harvard talk in an online video shared by the Gray Zone. When confronted with the error, she did not correct the record. This is what all of these newspapers are uncritically repeating and not telling their readers that this is who this is coming from. This is who compiled this report. Somebody who's discredited even within Israel. How counterfactual do your claims have to be discredited in Israel with your sexual assault claims about October 7th? All four outlets also cited the 2023 UN report by Pramila Patton. The BBC described Patton's visit to Israel, where she met with Zaka's Landau and other Israeli groups and officials to receive information as an investigation, despite Patton herself explicitly rejecting that characterization and stating her mission was neither intended nor mandated to be investigative in nature. Patton also acknowledged her mission did not include gathering or examining evidence. At the same time, the outlets ignored the findings of the more authoritative UN Commission of Inquiry, the UN's highest investigative body, as well as subsequent findings by Human Rights Watch and Amnesty International, all of which stated they were unable to verify any individual instance of grape on October 7th. If this happened, how would that even be possible? How would that be possible? And Caitlin Johnstone, in her inimitable way, points out how absurd some of these claims are. My favorite October 7th atrocity propaganda lie is the one where Hamas cut off a woman's breast and played a game of soccer with it, because only a weird Israeli incel who's never touched a breast could possibly come up with something so anatomically impossible. Yeah, it's the Hitler principle. Make the lie big enough and people will believe it, right? Michelle Tandler, I receive articles from the New York Times almost daily. It appears to be the paper of record for at least a third of my friends. For the foreseeable future, I'm on New York Times strike. Will not read a single article. Join me? And Ryan Grimm points out a certain irony here. Now, imagine we passed a law saying it was a hate crime for you to organize a boycott. Seems wrong, no? Yeah.
I'll still do the crossword on Monday because that's the only one I can do.
Only the crosswords. Yeah. Crosswords permitted. Scott Jennings. So this is a really good example. Like when you look at something like this. So Scott Jennings is a foreign agent. There's no fucking way Scott Jennings believes any of the shit that he says here. He's a foreign agent. He's Mehdi Hassan pointed out the radio station that he offers this on is owned by a registered agent of Israel.
Yeah. Yeah. What's it called? Salem Media. Yeah.
Yeah, it's owned by so Scott Jennings, who comes, yeah, I'm American and anti-woke. He's an agent of a foreign country. He is a traitor to the United States. That's the definition of a traitor, right? He goes out and he pretends to be acting on behalf of America and speaking for Americans, and he's not disclosing that he works for a foreign power. That is who Scott Jennings is.
New York Times, which has printed nothing short of a blood libel against Israel, written by a so-called journalist named Nicholas Kristof, one of their featured writers, in fact. The piece is printed as, quote, an opinion. It is sourced to discredited pro-Hamas people. It's the usual slop to cover up for the terrorists of Hamas. This New York Times piece even contains an allegation that Israel trained dogs to rape Palestinians. Let me say that again. The New York Times printed on the front page an opinion piece that contained an anonymous, unverified, unwitnessed allegation that Israel trained dogs to rape people. Just saying this out loud makes me feel stupid. Now, this opinion piece
that makes
was
you feel
printed
stupid.
a day before the report on verified Hamas sexual atrocities was to be made public. Months ago, the civil commission that produced the verified report approached the New York Times with its findings of these Hamas sexual atrocities. The New York Times said, no thanks, not interested in this evidence.
Okay, the report he's talking about is being verified is the one run by the discredited grifter. That the Times rightly said, yeah, well, I'm not gonna go with your nutty report.
But also, as I understand, Kristof did not discredit that or mention that in any kind of way at all, right?
He didn't get in. No.
Yeah.
I read the article. No, he doesn't get into that.
Knew this was coming out, and they knew this story was going to be bad, terrible for Hamas. So the night before, what did they choose to do? Print this garbage from Nicholas Kristof. Absolutely shameful media behavior. You cannot get any lower than this. How can Kristof keep his job? How can the New York Times not retract the piece, apologize, and fire everyone responsible for this insanity?
Yeah, see, I mean, this is what a guy like Scott Jennings is getting paid for. He's very good at projecting the kind of MAGA comfort zone of pissed off middle-aged white guy who just wants things back the way they were in some imagined past that never existed. And he ties that to serving his real master, Israel. That's a traitor. He's a traitor to the country. That is a disloyal traitor to the country. He should have to register as a foreign agent. There is no fucking way. The way I read Scott Jennings, there's no fucking way he believes any of this. If this guy does not, in his private life, use every slur for Jews in the book, I'll eat my hat. This guy has no use for Jews, but he likes their money. That's my theory. I've known a lot of guys like this. They don't usually have a lot of warm feelings towards the chosen people, but he'll take the money. Human Majid responded to this, making a very good point. Mehdi Hasan made the same point in his own comment on this. What's really curious about the Nick Kristof affair is that almost without exception, the pro-Netanyahu Israelis and the pro-Israeli Americans on X dismissed the New York Times essay as anti-Semitic garbage that has no basis in fact, but don't demand that the Israeli government investigate the allegations and prove them false or true. When allegations like these are made in a newspaper about a prison in the U.S., as they have been about Rikers in New York City, people and government officials demand an investigation, which ensues. So surely if you're genuinely pro-Israel and believe Israeli soldiers and prisoners' guards are incapable of committing atrocities, you should want the Israeli government to investigate each allegation and either show evidence it's false or prosecute the individuals responsible if true. Now that's a good point in and of itself. Okay, so sunlight is the best disinfectant, right? What better way to exonerate yourself? And then Nicholas Kristof makes another good point. I appreciate the intense interest in my column. For skeptics, why not agree on Red Cross and lawyer visits for the 9,000 Palestinian security prisoners? If you think these abuse allegations are false, such monitoring visits would be protective. So why not? Why not? Well, you know, in the words of Al Pacino in Justice for All, I wondered why she'd make it up, and then I realized she's not lying. She's not lying. That's why they don't want to investigate it. But hey, man, they came up with a better way to handle this than investigating. Some might say a stereotypical way for the chosen people. The Israel Foreign Ministry, following the publication by Nicholas Kristof in the New York Times of one of the most hideous and distorted lies ever published against the state of Israel in the modern press, which also received the backing of the newspaper, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and Foreign Minister Gideon Sa'ar have instructed the initiation of a defamation lawsuit against the New York Times. And here's Netanyahu. Today, I instructed my legal advisors to consider the harshest legal action against the New York Times and Nicholas Kristof. They defamed the soldiers of Israel and perpetuated a blood libel about grape, trying to create a false symmetry between the genocidal terrorists of Hamas and Israel's valiant soldiers. Under my leadership, Israel will not be silent. We will fight these lies in the court of public opinion and in the court of law. Truth will prevail. This is an interesting tack for them to take for reasons that Mel here, who has a good account, points out. Israeli soldiers have gone on Israeli television and said they use dogs to grape prisoners. Israeli settlers raided a military base in July 2024 and rioted for the right to grape after reservists were arrested for graping a male prisoner to death with a steel bar. After the right to grape riots, a member of the Israeli Knesset proclaimed that Israeli soldiers had the right to do whatever they wanted to Palestinian prisoners, including grape. Quite literally, no group of people have provided more evidence of the widespread, systematic sexual abuse of Palestinian prisoners at the hands of the IDF than Israelis themselves. And if you want to look this up, she says all receipts below. She does. She has all the video of everything she's describing there. Do they really want to take this to court? Really?
No, of course not.
Do they really want to?
No, they're not going to.
This to be litigated in a court of law?
Of course.
Well, here are some examples put together by Zateo of what kinds of things the defense might present in that kind of a proceeding. Israeli officials and their allies complained that describing Israel's genocidal behavior is blood libel. But look what's being openly said on one of the most popular TV channels in Israel. All right, so let me take down the volume a little bit here. Okay. I don't sleep well unless I see houses collapsing in Gaza. What am I going to do? More houses, more towers. They shouldn't have anywhere to return to. Did we need this disaster to happen in order to understand that the Palestinians are an unnecessary group? To understand that it could be that what they need is a second Nakba? So what should they do? The civilians open fire. Shoot at civilians? Of course. They're not civilians. I think that the first time we see the images from Gaza of the bombings of the buildings and the bodies, the first time, I say at least, who cares? It's not enough. It's not interesting. It needs to be much stronger. With God's help, Gaza will become the Riviera of the Middle East. Did you see the article in Haaretz that we're setting houses on fire in Gaza? It's true, by the way. Wonderful. Excellent. It says it as if it were a bad thing. It's very simple. Take crop dusters, fill them with gas, spray them all over Gaza, and tell them if you don't release hostages within an hour, all of Gaza will go up in flames. I don't take any pity on these Gazans. I don't think that there's anyone in the state of Israel, in Eretz Yisrael, who should take pity on these Gazans. Not on adults, not on the elderly, not on young people, and not on children. As far as I'm concerned, they should starve to death. What do I care about that? We know that there is a legal process underway in the Hague, and soldiers' songs of May Your Village Be Burned.
זה לא בדיוק עוזר לנו במאמץ
הבינלאומי. I don't know if you're following, what did he say? I don't know if you're following the news. We are burning their village, and it's good that we're burning their village.
ואני אגיד את זה בכל מקום, לא רק אני אומר את זה, דרך אגב, גם כל החיילים חושבים כמוני, כמו שאמר ידידי יקר.
My dear friend said, we're not burning their village, we're erasing their village.
אנחנו לא שורפים את הכפר, אנחנו מוחקים להם את הכפר, וצריכים לשרוף להם את הכפר.
And we need to burn their village.
יש שם עיתונאים.
On the northern border with cameras, there are journalists
עם מצלמות שמכוונות לצד שלנו, בעיניי אגב, במטרה
in my opinion, by the way, they are a legitimate target. And they should be taken down. No one approaches our border with a camera. That should have been law. This is a war zone. You choose to go there, your blood is on your own hands. We need to suppress the desires of the Palestinians. Yes, to suppress their desire for a state, to suppress their desire for nationhood, to suppress their desire for liberation, to suppress it. Okay, so these are the people who would have you believe that they would never sexually assault prisoners. These are people who have that on TV, telling you that this is something that is inconceivable that they would do. And they want to go to court and have a defense present all of the evidence out there in the public sphere of what Israeli society actually is. What I can't look, man. I'm not a big flag waving American here. I cannot imagine being able to put together a parade of people going on American TV and saying things like that and having the audience react positively. That is a really, really sick society. And because it's such a sick society, if you do take this to court, they're going to have hours and hours of stuff like that to present in a court of law. It would be the worst thing that Israel could possibly do, to go into a court where a defense is going to have a right to discovery and to ask for documents and files. Like, you're probably right. Like, I don't see how they could possibly do it, but you never know. The Zionists are so deranged and so convinced of their own righteousness, and they're so accustomed to their own impunity. They might. I mean, I could see why they're going insane about this, because the more people find out about Israel, the more impossible it's going to be for Israel to maintain their grift. Like, how could you continue to fund Israel once the more people really understand, yeah, this is a country so sick that not only are these stories about dogs true, we showed you the soldier joking about it, and clearly the host knows about it and the audience knows about it. They're pretending that they don't know about this in Israel. If you look at that clip, clearly it's widely known that they do this. You can see the acknowledgement in the host and in the audience, and he stops them from explicitly saying it.
Yeah, well, they're not going to bring this to court. Notice the language that they're using. We've initiated a process. We've considered bringing this into a court. I think they're going to back down for all these reasons. They're not going to want the truth to come out. You know, you take something to court when you're not afraid of discovery. Of course, you know, discovery is the last thing that they want in a case like this. So, yeah, I don't think that they're going to actually take this to court. When Netanyahu says, we'll fight this in the court of public opinion and in the court of law, I think the court of law part is going to end at the consideration.
You're probably right.
But, you know, the key word there for Christoph's reporting is systematic, right? When you see, you know, the assault of prisoners, that's systematic. When you see the assault of villagers in the West Bank, that's systematic. Those are not one-off incidents, right? Nowhere in Christoph's, I mean, Christoph doesn't even refute the claims about sexual violence on October 7th, but I haven't seen any serious person deny that there were atrocities committed on October 7th. But the question is whether there was systemic sexual violence committed, and there's been absolutely zero evidence for any of that. And the other thing that Christoph does, which sets him up to, I won't say fail, because ultimately the Times kind of stood by him. But the other thing that he did, he thought was a favor to himself, that was no favor to himself at all, was this sort of conciliatory language that, you know, there are many different ways to view the Middle East conflict, but we should all be able to condemn rape. Well, no. If you support Israel, you support an apartheid state. You support an apartheid dynamic, which naturally allows for the criminal mistreatment of the out group. So it is not to be taken for granted that, well, you can support Israel, but you ought to be outraged by this. No, if you support apartheid, you can't really have the expectation of decency to any person who supports an apartheid dynamic. This is something that liberal Zionists don't understand. You got guys like Bernie Sanders. Yeah, it has the right to exist as a Jewish state. Well, what that means is you support apartheid. What that means is you support a tiered system of justice where it is acceptable to treat certain people as less than other people. And so where does that
all I can tell you is those girls on the kibbutz work my joint better than any American women ever have.
Exactly. So, like, where does that
end
go?
that dream?
Yeah. Yeah. You have no right to be surprised, much less outraged at any atrocity that stems from that. You know, that's like saying, you know, slave masters shouldn't sexually assault their slaves, but they have the right to keep them as slaves. Like that's what you sound like, right? If you agree that a certain dynamic is acceptable, then you can't expect that they're going to pick and choose which actions go too far and which do not. And, you know, Christoph is being overly conciliatory there because he's a writer at the Times, and he's been a writer at the Times, by the way, since 1984. And this is another thing. I think if this were like a new writer, they may not have stood by him. They may have given him up. But the fact that this guy has been a fixture at the publication for literally 40 plus years, I mean, if they were to fire him over this or issue a retraction over this, I mean, that would be, a top 3 journalistic scandals of the century that you let a reporter go after 40 years because the Israelis and their sympathizers complained. So I think that's why they stood by him. They obviously printed this in the opinion section where it was really not an opinion piece. I mean, you saw the video there.
It's a news piece.
It's a news piece.
There's
He went
nothing
out there,
opinion about it.
like what we do is opinion. We read shit and we give our opinion. He actually went out and talked to people and gathered information and gathered evidence and put it all together. It's a news piece. And so they soft pedaled it as much as they could, but obviously they're not going to throw him to the wolves so quickly because he's one of their star people. And if you look at that montage, it's not just like 2 or 3 characters going off at the mouth over and over again. It's you hardly see the same person twice on that montage. I mean, you see all these different people just go up there and just casually express genocidal intent. Yeah, no, there's absolutely no way they bring this to court, in my opinion.
You're probably right. That would be suicidal.
Yeah, exactly. V. Nettlesbound says, Russ, welcome back. Your dreams were your ticket out. There you go.
The youngin doesn't get that.
No.
Welcome back. Your dreams were your ticket out.
Go and
welcome back
read
Carter
some
theme, man.
Oh, yeah. See, I don't know that one. Why don't you read some? I'll put the scroll up here. So, hey, you want to give Russell a welcome back present? Become a member. You get all kinds of perks. Name up in lights here on the show scroll. Call-in access to all our Q&As, bonus streams, film clubs, ad-free live stream replays, all that for just $5 a month. And you're the backbone of the program. All right. You want to take some more?
All right. Anthony Koss. Holla for $1. Thank you, man. Maurizio Marete. I was impressed by the 3 Gorges Dam, and the power stations, marvels of communism. Planning a trip to China myself next year. Greetings from Italy by an old Bolshevik boomer. Yeah, it was pretty impressive, man. I did the whole cruise down the Yangtze through the 3 Gorges. Old Nosy, welcome back, bud. Would love to see you on Jimmy Doran on Kurt Metzger's show. I'm sure it'll happen soon enough. Pete Sweet, konnichiwa from Kyoto. Welcome back.
Konnichiwa. I love that.
Word. You're in Japan.
One of my favorite
now?
words. That's one of my favorite words. I wish we had a word in English as cool as konnichiwa.
Keaton Shuffle Pod, do dissonance music about Gaza, Israel, COVID, Epstein, MC Abdul, shouting at the wall, Macklemore, Heinzall, IMA, Carmageddon, Good Citizen.
Australia, that's number 1 in
number
Australia.
1.
Oh, I didn't. Interesting. Thank you. We'll be doing more Shuffle Pod stuff now that Russ is back. I'll have more time.
French Laundry. Those Gen Z edits that Tucker Carlson is posting are so hard. Those edits are enough for me to vote for him. Also glad the other guy, the edit guy. Buster Blueson. I live in DFW, jaywalk all the time and never get a ticket. Yeah, man. I mean, they didn't ticket me. Like, listen. There's only so authoritarian you could say China is if fucking they let me in, okay? Like, I do this for a living, and I've done critical stories about China. And, yeah, because of the firewall, like, yeah, there's censorship, obviously. There's a firewall. Because of the firewall, I couldn't really work out the technicals to live stream, but I was posting videos from there. Like, it's not...
Right.
You know, it's not all that. It's not like that, but it's not nothing either. But we'll get into it Sunday. Oh, George, quietly, wistfully remembering times of snarky comments and laughter, and also dismay at horrors never smelled or seen before, silently, woefully staring at an unmoving screen. Is that Hemingway?
Mm-hmm.
It was very poetic there. Ken Minji, Peter Hagar from Revolutionary Change said on the show.
What happened? You freeze?
The mic, you guys were. Did I freeze?
You froze for a minute. Yeah, it's all right. You're back.
What about now?
Yeah, you're good.
Michael Tracy had the worst body odor of anyone he ever met. I mean, if anyone ever had the kind of body odor that leaps out at you from the screen, it is Michael Tracy. You guys were smart to do the interview by Zoom. I mean, it's not like, really, Michael Tracy? I can't believe that about him. Matt from Wisconsin, welcome back, Russ. So happy to see you on DD again. What was the most American thing you did on your trip? Probably the most American thing I did on my trip was crave tuna fish with mayonnaise.
Yeah,
I was craving tuna fish with mayonnaise. Like, I didn't really have cravings for the first few months, but then when I did, it was for tuna fish with mayonnaise.
Right.
But what was like the most American thing I did? I mean,
well, you had American breakfasts, right? You had Western breakfast.
Oh yeah, man. Like that's where I draw the line. Oh, and you know what? I forgot because my head is so in. I was just in China, but I actually went to fucking 4 other countries. I had that question about best food. Yeah, actually, forgot about China. Thailand.
Yeah, Thailand.
Thailand
killer.
buries every other country that I went to, food-wise.
Yes.
Like, that is the place where any food you get pretty much is gonna be great. Anything that you get from a street vendor, and no place has the street food scene that Thailand has. No place has it like that. And it's all great. It's all just delicious. Like, I could eat that forever, the Thai food. It was great. But yeah, like breakfast, I like my Western breakfast. So when I can get it, I get it. You can't always get it though, especially the further out you go. John Freeze. Hi, Russ. Welcome back. Any Buddhist anecdotes from China? It's interesting, man. Like, you have the Buddhist temples there, not the way that you do in a lot of other places, like Thailand or Laos. You have practicing Buddhists, and I went to some, interesting temples where I saw people, who were believers. Yeah, you seem to have more people in China who what they'll do, like, they'll go in a temple and they'll do the thing, like you bow 3 times. And I asked some people that who told me that they didn't believe
Yeah, it froze again.
in it, but they're showing respect to the belief. Hello.
You're
Hello.
there now. Yeah. You froze
I'm
again.
here now. Now I'm back.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So where did I get cut off?
I don't know. Where were you at?
I don't know. I don't pay attention to you when
Yeah.
you're talking. So yeah, a lot of people in China in particular will show respect to the belief, and it is part of like their cultural history. But they don't per se believe it themselves, and I think that's the communist influence. Whereas you go to these other countries, and even Vietnam, although they're communist, they're not as there's not as much of a government state presence in people's lives. They're more like devout Buddhists. There's
Right.
like a strong strain of ancestor worship running through those societies. So it's very interesting how that plays out. Like in China, that seems to play out like, I don't believe in Buddhism anymore. We've moved past that, but I'm going to bow when I walk into a Buddhist temple to pay respect. So who are you paying respect to? The ancestors, right? Like those cultural patterns don't go away that easily. Virtuoso, welcome back, Russ. Judging by your voice, you got to shake off that Chinese smog. I'll tell you, man, like, I think that the desert air didn't really agree with me out in Urumqi. Like, it's that very dry air and like a lot of dust. I think that's part of what did it. Stoop sign, Tulsi got less hot after she sold her soul. You're right. She really went downhill. Oh, George, wondering what might have been, might yet be. Will Keaton surprise us and say it was all a joke? Do I allow myself the chance to hope that this unendurable silence will end before Thursday? What are you talking about?
What might be? Say it was all a joke. What do you mean all a joke?
Yeah, what is it?
I
What is
don't
he
know.
talking
I don't know
about?
what you mean.
What is that? Andy Gardner, Keaton, good news. Gad Sad was on Rogan for the 25th time. I heard you recommended his book, Suicidal Empathy, Dying to Be
Yeah.
Kind. Jokes aside, I love your wonderful travel videos, Russ. Welcome back. Yeah, I am trying to do a raid by the end of the show. It might, like, it's still loading because I had some trouble exporting it. Palaganda, welcome back, weary traveler. Keaton held it down. He rocks. You both rock. Listen, man, there's never any doubt Keaton would hold it down. He's a fucking machine, and he's one of the best on the mic in the business. I knew he'd be fun. Fanticus Prime, for some reason, it took me this long to realize that dad jokes are just an extension of vaudeville. Here's a joke from vaudeville. After the rain falls, when does it get back up? Oh, God, man. I had to get that one.
Yeah,
I had to get that
you're
one.
the short stick on that.
All right, one more.
One more.
Buster Blueson, welcome back, Russ. Glad to have you back. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you, Buster Blue Son. Appreciate that very much. All right.
It looks like we'll be able to do it. It's at 93% loaded. So 94% now. So I guess you'll just, once it's up, I don't know what you do. You'll go to my page and get the premiere.
You have to schedule the premiere.
It's already scheduled. So once it uploads, I guess it'll go live to my page.
Once
right?
it uploads, hang on. Once it uploads, let's see here. Let me see if I could do it. Can I do it when it's in progress? Let's see.
Well, probably not when it's in progress, but it's almost there.
Yeah. What's it called? What's the title of it?
Xinjiang, China's Uyghur region, part 1.
All right. Yeah, it's not up there yet. All right. Well, I'll see.
It's at 94.
All
So
right.
it should be up any minute.
All right, very well. I mean, it might have to process, so we'll see. Okay. Zamit says, at what point is someone going to tell Trump he's got no clothes? Thank you, Zamit. Appreciate that. Okay. Dendra Bates, how was that bat soup you tried, Russ? On completely unrelated news, apparently there's a hantavirus outbreak.
You know what I did eat? Like the most exotic thing I ate? I ate a scorpion.
That's right.
I still have not released that video, but yes, I ate a scorpion.
All right. What time are you setting that premiere up for?
Well, I'm gonna have to push it back. I set it up for 4:30.
Yeah, so maybe 4:45. All right. Let's move right on along here. All right. So, hey, I think this is funny. This is kind of one of the ironies that I think is kind of funny. So remember about a year ago, this was the talk of Twitter for a couple of days here. South Africa legalizes land seizures without pay. A breakdown of the controversial land seizure law and what it means for South Africa. Now, not a single acre of land of a white person has been seized without pay by the South African government. But, you know, this is a real paranoia and a real fear amongst a lot of people who empowered the data center regime. And what do you know? Here's this girl talking about how her house is being seized through eminent domain to build a data center. It's going to be funny when one of Elon's data centers starts seizing people's homes through eminent domain. I have a fan fiction sort of fantasy that one of the Afrikaner refugees will get settled here and buy a house and then have Elon's data center seize that house through eminent domain and not pay. That's a fan fiction scenario I've concocted in my head. But the government is preparing to seize homes and land using eminent domain for the construction of a data center in Coweta County, Georgia.
My name's Ansley. I live in Coweta County, Georgia. I wanted to come out here and show you guys firsthand what is happening to our county. So as you can see behind me, we have these power lines. Georgia Power is going to expand these lines to support power to the data center. What they're doing to homeowners is they're taking their homes. This is my childhood home behind me. It is being taken by force by Georgia Power. Homeowners in this county do not have a choice. It is called eminent domain, and they will take it.
That's right. They'll take it. Elon Musk's XAI has been poisoning Memphis's air with no permit and no oversight. Now the people of Memphis are fighting back. We deserve clean air. We deserve to be able to live in our communities and to live long lives. Yes, there is widespread opposition to these data centers, as we're going to see.
We do not want here in Memphis. This is a public hearing for the air permit being considered for the XAI facility.
See, I got asthma. My mama got asthma. My grandma at home, 87 years old, got asthma, and she never had it before. I can't breathe at home. It smells like gas outside.
We've shown up here today because we're tired of going in and out of hospitals, going in and out of funeral homes. We've been paying taxes and we've been dying, and what we're saying is that stops now.
Yep, a lot of opposition to these data centers. Well, Tucker Carlson had Kevin O'Leary on his show. Kevin O'Leary, of course, behind the massive 40,000-acre data center project in rural Utah. And so I'm surprised he accepted the invitation from Tucker to go on and kind of spar over this. But here's Furkan Gozukara says, Tucker Carlson completely corners Shark Tank host Kevin O'Leary regarding massive corporate welfare for AI data centers.
Let me ask, though, about why taxpayers should have to pay for this if it's a private business and your tenants are some of the richest companies in the world. Why would taxpayers be required, as they now are, to subsidize this?
They don't necessarily have to do that. They just won't win any contracts. It's a competition.
But why are you getting tax breaks is my question.
Yeah, everybody, you go back and you say, what incentives can you give us to invest $15 billion in the first 1.5 gigs? That's what it takes. I have to go raise $15 billion.
Well,
that's just
okay, but anyone who starts a business, why should taxpayers have to pony up for that?
They don't. But
well, of course they do. If you, I mean, if you're getting a tax break and they're not, they're making up the difference. There's a state budget.
Okay, that's no problem. That's no problem. I can build it in Texas. I can build it in Jacksonville, Mississippi.
But why, if it's such a good business, would you be asking taxpayers to help pay for it without giving them equity in the company? Are you giving taxpayers shares?
No, the investors get the shares. But here's why they would do it.
Why would the taxpayers have to?
Well,
I mean, in other words, if you want to start a business, but why am I, as a taxpayer, forced to pay for your business? I don't get it.
Well, let's forget about data centers. Let's go any manufacturing. Let's say you're going to build.
Yeah. Okay. So the clip cuts out there, but this is the exact point. Let's say it's not data centers. Let's say it's any manufacturing. The reason a municipality might give something that's not a data center a tax break, or say it's not manufacturing, say it's a housing complex or whatever, is because people might actually want a manufacturing center in their town. And so the town gives them a tax break to get it in. People want housing built in their town, so they might give them a tax break to get them in. The difference between that and data centers is people don't want data centers, right? So that's why there's this question, A, why are you getting tax breaks? And the answer is they're having a tough time getting tax breaks, right? Because they're being met with fierce opposition from people. And it is not toothless opposition. 7 in 10 Americans oppose data centers being built in their communities. Over the past year, clashes over data centers have become some of the nation's most heated political conflicts as local residents organize against the projects. A major concern voters have is that data centers, which use an immense amount of energy, will drive up their electricity costs at a time when the power grid is already overstressed. In response to public pressure, lawmakers in several communities have imposed moratoriums on large data centers. The issue has also risen to a top concern for voters. In some communities, local officials who supported the construction of data centers are being voted out of office. The Post reported last month how residents in Archbald, Pennsylvania, were battling plans to place 7 data center campuses consisting of about 51 warehouses, each about the size of a Walmart supercenter in the town. Public opposition to the plans is so intense that most of the town council members were forced to resign this spring and have been replaced with data center opponents. So here's a small town in Wisconsin just made a move that shocked America, voting 44-0 to unanimously ban data centers.
Mainstream media covered this, but a small Wisconsin town just made a move that shocked America, voting 44-0 to unanimously ban data centers in favor of farmland. Anonymous developers went into Cassville, Wisconsin, proposing a $1 billion facility with plans to install hyperscale AI data centers, and residents were never even told who would build it or exactly where it would go. What they did know was the scale. They wanted to take up approximately 500 acres of prime farmland. Proposition put it in the driftless area, and this is not generic farmland as it was never covered by glaciers during the last ice age, making it prime for food production. Organic Valley is the largest dairy co-op in the US, and it was founded in this farmland, and so locals know that it can actively resist industrial farming, making it a refuge for small-scale organic and artisanal agriculture. And so despite promises of 50 jobs and $5.5 million in annual property tax revenue, the result was unambiguous: 44 votes in favor of banning data centers, 0 against. But
44 in favor of banning, 0 against. Wow, this ain't good. Data center. This is in Alabama. More opposition to data centers.
Nail for a year.
This is huge.
It's huge.
So I went out to meet Ron Morgan. He lives right next to a planned AI data center in Bessemer, Alabama. It's a suburb of Birmingham.
There's no way in the world that they're going to find a flat spot out there to build one building, let alone 18.
He said this land that you see, a lot of it's going to have to be destroyed.
Every bit of it. All the trees will be gone. The rocks will be gone.
And for those that care about nature, this is the true cost of an AI data center.
They're going to have to flatten. They keep saying 100 acres. Wrong. You've got 18 buildings that total 103 acres. You've got 2 substations that are as big as 2 of these buildings. You've got generator pads. You've got fuel storage facilities, roads, and parking lots. So you're looking at probably 200 to 300 acres that they're going to have to destroy. We've got a lawsuit pending against it for an arbitrary and capricious zoning ordinance change. They've got deep pockets. I mean, they can buy off any official in the state. I mean, there's no moratorium on graft and corruption in the state of Alabama. This is the new gold rush. Everybody wants a piece of a data center because it's millions of dollars in tax revenue and millions of dollars into the pocket of the guy who owns the data center. But it doesn't help anybody.
What's your message to other people who are going through something like this?
Fight it early and fight it often. I mean, once they get their shovel in the ground, there's nothing you can do about it.
And people are fighting early and often. Missouri Town votes out every city council member who approved a $6 billion AI data center. Every single one. Opposition to data centers has also increased in cities and counties, where they were once welcomed. Multi-billion-dollar proposals for sprawling campuses are increasingly getting rejected by communities, stymieing plans by technology firms for the rapid build-out of infrastructure they say is crucial to beating China in AI innovation. So this is ultimately where they're going to land. Hey, if we don't do this, China will. And here's Kevin O'Leary giving that to Tucker.
Do you want the insurance policy or not? Would you, with all of the nefarious concerns about AI, which outcome do you prefer as an American for your family? Would you prefer all of us that are developing these data centers put down our shovels and stop while the Chinese accelerate theirs? Would you like that?
Well, I see a kind of a different question. I see the question,
no, you're not answering
I want to be, let me answer your question in the following way. Do I want to become like China in order that we can, quote, beat China? Not at all. The problem with China, from my perspective, is that it surveils its citizens and it limits their ability to say what they think and to oppose existing power. That's why China is bad, I thought, because there are a lot of things about China that are great. But what I don't like about China is the totalitarian approach it has towards its own population.
I agree with you.
You're making it possible for our government to have the same approach, and our government already does. They're surveilling us at all times. Most Americans don't even know they're being watched. There are license plate readers, there are facial recognition cameras everywhere. And the question is why? So the crime rate can go down, and well, it hasn't gone down. So, of course, the real reason is to make you obedient, obviously.
No, I have a different vision of the future. Because
Why do we still have crime
everybody? But now hear me out. Here's what I think is going to happen, because I'm enjoying this conversation. Let me, as I know we come to a close soon, but here's where I think we're going to be in 20 years. Okay.
Yeah.
I believe in 20 years, and this is my vision of what's going to occur. And I think I'm a great guy to actually do this because I have a foot in both economies. I think by the time the 20th year, I'm going to make it in 10 years. It may not be with this administration or the administration in Canada. The two economies are going to emerge for one reason.
Which two economies?
Canada has all the raw resources, the largest consumer market on Earth has. And it's crazy that we're fighting on this stuff. It's crazy.
I agree.
It makes no sense.
Totally agree.
And so we should merge these economies. You don't have to merge the countries. You merge the economies, so you get an EU type situation where you allow freedom of movement across the border, and you allow no tariffs on all the stuff we need, the rare earth Canada has, the water, the paper, all that stuff. And the only reason we're going to do that is so we can take 5% of our GDP, which will be the largest on earth by around 25%. No one will be close to us if we merge those two together, and the benefits that accrue. For one reason, to tell the Chinese, don't fuck with us. That's basically what's going to happen, because they want to fuck with us big time. And that's my belief. And I think I'm right. I think that's what's going to happen. And AI and compute and all this stuff, that's a side story. We have to keep all of our tech ahead of theirs, including data centers and everything else. But ultimately, they are our adversary.
Yeah, this is why I said what you're going to need, and it's interesting because, Trump is over there in China, and this is really what you need to rein this in at a macro level. You need a sort of AI treaty, just like you have nuclear treaties, right? You need countries to agree, okay, where are we going to go with this? Where are we not going to go with this? Because now you're going to have an AI arms race, just like you had a nuclear arms race. Now you're going to have an intelligence arms race. And so that's their justification for it. But of course, the saying goes, all politics is local. Now, maybe not all politics is local, but a lot of politics is local. And I predicted this from jump when they were talking about building the ice jails. I said they're going to run into a very, very powerful dynamic in people, which is NIMBY. They don't want it near them. Even people who want ice jails don't want ice jails near them. Even people who are super excited about AI, they don't want one of these things 2 miles away from them, sucking up all the power, sucking up all of the water, not putting any job. These are not facilities for humans to work. That one facility, they're going to bring 50 jobs, right? These are facilities for robots, for computers. And NIMBY is very, very powerful. As they learned when they tried that ICE rollout, I think they only got about half of the facilities built that they planned to. And now you're seeing place after place put up firewalls against these data centers. To understand how the public attitude toward AI has changed, watch this 1-minute video of a commencement speech in Florida. Watch the students erupt in boos at the mention of AI.
Now, that said, we are living in a time of profound change. That's an understatement, right? Profound change. Change is exciting, very exciting, and let's face it, change can be daunting. The rise of artificial intelligence is the next industrial revolution.
Industrial for who?
Whoa.
Yeah, who? Not for them.
What happened? Okay, I struck a chord. May I finish?
I'm sorry.
That's why you should never come to one of these things without a basket of tomatoes.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't put much thought into this speech. I'm just trying to I'm trying to make the $5 margarita happy hour at Applebee's. Okay, just let me out of here.
Only a few years ago, AI was not a factor in our lives. Okay?
I can't imagine why a bunch of young graduates who are going to face a job market where former entry-level positions are now being done by AI would react negatively to my invocation of AI.
Exactly.
Who could have seen that coming?
It's not an industrial revolution. It's an anti-industrial revolution.
Okay. We've got a bipolar topic here, I see. Okay.
Doesn't seem bipolar to me. They seem pretty much on the same page.
AI capabilities are in the palm of our hands. And oh, I love it.
Love it. Yeah. Make it stop. Make it stop. Data centers in the Missouri Ozarks.
Data center video hit some nerves. Well, if they're so great, why aren't they building them in their own backyards? Why isn't Mike Kehoe putting one on his farm? Why isn't Jason Smith putting one on his pretend farm? If they're so wonderful, why are they not in the rich people's backyards? Why did they bring them to the Missouri Ozarks? That's because they will poison our fish, they will dry up our wells, they will dry up our creeks, they will poison our rivers, they will poison our lakes. The one in Marshfield, 0 environmental impact. Yesterday, they moved an eagle and her nest. Somebody called the conservation department. I'm sure it didn't do any good because Mike Kehoe wants to build the damn thing. We have to fight back. And you've asked how. Show up at every meeting, stand out there with signs, and inform people. Let them know what this means. The loss of electricity, the loss of water, the loss of wildlife, and the loss of the way of life in the Missouri Ozarks.
Yeah, this is what I told Shama. I had Shama on. I told her, I said, I really think this is the biggest opportunity for like working class and class-based organizing because it hits everything. It hits people's sense of the environment where they live. It hurts people obviously in the wallet with the massive increase in cost. And also this is finally a culture war issue that really works for the working class. It is very much about protecting a way of life.
Right.
I've told people this. I said, look, I have 3 kids. It's very difficult for me to steer them in a direction now because I don't know which skills are going to be of any use to them in 10 years. Like, you don't know. I mean, this is going places we can't possibly anticipate right now. So this is a home run. This is a fastball right down the middle to organize a workers' movement around because you see people of all different colors, of all different stripes, rural, urban, black, white, doesn't matter. No one wants this, and everyone is animated by it. It's not just that they don't want it. They're actually showing up and mobilizing and getting results in blocking these things. So the survey showed that 70% of the 1,000 Americans polled worry about data centers' environmental impacts. About half of opponents specifically said they were worried about an excessive use of resources such as water. This is also one of those rare issues where people's concerns about their own economics really converge with their concerns about the environment. Generally, the bargain is, well, we'd like to care for the environment more, but it's more expensive to care for the environment. It costs too much money. Here you have both of these issues come together in ways that very much benefit a workers' movement. About 1 in 5 opponents are also concerned about the impact on local quality of life, while similar numbers worry that data centers could drive up utility bills. Here's an interesting interview on Democracy Now! Writer Astra Taylor says many tech companies that once presented themselves as climate champions are abandoning those commitments in a mad scramble to build out AI infrastructure. Funny how that goes.
Aren't new. Every time you use the internet, you're using data centers. So they've been around for a while, but they have been supercharged by the push towards artificial intelligence. Virginia is indeed the data center hub in this country, but they're spreading rapidly across the United States. Sam Altman, the head of OpenAI, has said that, perhaps we'll have to cover the entire world in data centers. And it's about the drive for computing power. You could build data centers that were connected to sustainable renewable energy sources. That is not what these tech companies are doing, because they are rushing to compete to be the company that controls this industry.
That's right. You got to win.
Helping to blow,
got to move fast, and break
through
things.
whatever now long gone climate commitments we had. But this drive to AI has been, when you look at Silicon Valley, they say the drive to AI is why we can no longer meet our climate commitments, right? All of these companies, Google, Meta, presented themselves as climate champions, and AI has caused them to throw those ideals out the window.
Yeah, you got a guy like Elon Musk comes onto the scene as this big climate warrior with Tesla and his EVs. And now the new racket is these data centers, which take up water and eat people's power. And people are rising up against it. And I think it's an incredibly potent issue. As we're seeing, people are really united. You talk about opportunities to unite people of different political orientations and different ways of life. This seems to be it.
Yeah, this is something we've been saying for a while as the AI has been developing. I don't understand anybody who is still defending capitalism as an organizing principle for society. In capitalism, you want to minimize your costs, right? And one of your biggest costs is labor. The eternal dream of capitalists has been to eliminate the need for labor. So what do you think the implications of this technology are for you? For most people, what are they going to do? They're going to throw you overboard. They're going to get rid of you. They're already doing it. They're already firing massive numbers of people. What I found was interesting in China was that I asked several people about this. We tend to automatically default to tech dystopianism when presented with new technologies, for good reason, because the people who rule us mean us harm. So whenever we see a new technology, we assume it's going to be used to further disempower us and to economically disenfranchise us. They're kind of techno-utopian there, because they assume that this technology feeds into the socialist utopia of the long-term plan that will provide everybody with their own servant robot and free everyone from the drudgery of monotonous labor, right? Like, they assume all this technology brings them to the Star Trek world, right? Where you can just be, right? and be with your family and be with your community. So they don't fear these innovations. And I looked for that a lot. And it's something I wouldn't have thought of, because it's such a default for us, the Terminator scenario. That's what we assume. But there's a freaking reason for that. And there's a good reason for that. They want to build these data centers. They're not going to bring you jobs. They're going to destroy your environment, and they're being built to replace you. Because what are they going to do with this AI? They're going to take away your jobs. This whole system at this point, especially in light of this technology, is not only not working for people, it's deadly. It's deadly. And the longer people take to wake up, the more likely it is that by the time they wake up, it's going to be too late. They're going to have too much surveillance technology in place. They're going to have too much technology in place that allows them to do without workers. And at that point, they'll just kill you, man. That's the future I see if people don't get together and organize. Yeah, that's promising that they're trying to stop these data centers. If I know this country, their response to that is going to be to find ways around community organizing, because that's what they do. They'll find ways to do it anyway.
Well, we will see. All you can do is push back on these things, and sure. It's going to be a question of political will, because absent some sort of international treaty, which does not seem to be in the cards. If you notice, that's not being talked about. Like, none of these things get talked about. Like, nobody campaigned on building these things. We didn't talk about this. We talked about transgender sports during the campaign, right? Like, nobody campaigns about what they actually do. Nobody campaigned on going to war with Iran. Nobody campaigned on these data centers. You go down the list of things. Look at what they promised versus what they're doing. Look at what's been debated versus what's on the table right now. And you see really nothing. No points of similarity between what's been proposed and what's been enacted, because they figure out ways to trick you into thinking about other things. But when it comes to this stuff, you just can't do that. You can't do that. It's too in people's backyards. And it doesn't seem to be a situation where people are just kind of throwing their hands up. They've seen this. They've been burned too many times. You know, you already told them that NAFTA was going to work out for them, right? Now you're talking about bringing in, warehouses with no workers in them and trying to tell them how this is going to be a big boon to their local economy. How?
Right.
How?
Right.
Like, how do you even explain that to somebody? There's no way to make that make sense to somebody. Anybody could figure that out.
Sure. I mean, my experience over the course of my lifetime is that increasingly, as the interests of the ruling class diverge from that of the population, if you push them hard enough, they just take the mask off and go full fascist. Like they'll just look at Standing Rock, man. That was under Obama. Like they'll just send out troops to clear the land and build their freaking data center. And it's not just data centers. I was overseas. You know what my electric bill was? I wasn't using any electric. It was $80 a month.
Right.
I wasn't using any electric.
Yeah.
Right. What's it going to be this summer?
Your fridge was running or something like that? Did you unplug your refrigerator, or did you have the fridge running?
No, the fridge was running. That's it, though.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. That was literally the only electricity running.
Crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. All right. Let's take some more super chats and Rumble rants. I set up your premiere, by the way, so it's rating. It'll rate after this.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I did it.
All right. So 4:45 will work?
Maybe push it back to 5. Because we got some.
That's what I was thinking. Because you still, don't you have the Sam Cedar thing?
I have a quick one, yeah.
Yeah. All right, so I'll push it back. All right. So what are we doing now? Reading super chats?
Yeah. Let's take some chats.
All right, me or you?
I'll take some. Where do we leave off? Yeah. George says, can I find some purchase in the Valley of Torment? Can I find the will, the fortitude to persevere, to traverse this silent land, devoid of RFK's reassuring voice? This is my cantos. Oh, that's your poem? Thank you, George. She does not seem to be devastated and shockingly calm, unlike the Epstein victims. Anyone buying this is a true idiot. I talk about the Cynthia West. Comedy gold, says Amidi. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Vientica says, offering her cow money just seems apropos. Yes. When I buy cows, I use Apple Pay. Ha, good one. In Terabang, which is more believable, Massie's ex-cow cash claim or Tyler Robinson's furry confession? Yeah, they really dug deep for that one, huh? Why isn't Myanmar on a tour of Southeast Asia?
I mean, I can't go everywhere, man.
Can't go everywhere.
4 months, man. Like, what do you want me to do?
Yeah, why didn't you go there?
Do you hear me? Do you hear me? Would I have survived another 4 months?
I think you did felch a rat. I think you should quarantine in there for 40 days.
I felched one of those. What is it that they have over there? I forget. It'll come to me.
Let's see. What do we got over here? Okay. Where is Erica Kirk when you need a good actress? Good one. Chrysler, thanks for the $20. When y'all have time, check out my work, The Corrupted Mirror Theory. All right. Thank you, Chrysler. Appreciate that. Deep Green says, wow, these Zio conservatives using Me Too. Wow. That's right. Eric, with no allegations, though. She's mad because he asked her to gain weight because he wanted to sacrifice her. I want to know y'all's honest opinion on it. On the Substack? Okay. Thank you for that. Profanosaurus Rex with Cynthia West sitting on the toilet trying to pump a log. Good one. Peter Gator Pete says, with the price of beef, I'll do cash. Yeah. 007 Angelo, you see, it was deviant because he put the cowbell on her. He heard a Jew on YouTube say, "Give her more cowbell." Glad you're back, Russ. Keaton 666 headbang was giving all of us a headache. Haha, just kidding, Keaton. Thank you.
Were you doing it?
I did a few. Yeah, I did a few. Yep. Vientica says she's probably disappointed because she expected Massie to dress her up like a cow and hook her up to milking machines like you see in some niche hentai. Vienticus, maybe she just didn't like Massie's secret cow level. If you know, you know. Thank you for that, my friend. Appreciate that. Let's clear out some of these here. Okay. Okay, we'll keep going right on down the list here. Vienticus, was Massie's deviant sexual behavior making her watch episodes of Cow and Chicken while in the bedroom? Thank you. Stoop Sign says Polymarket is full of shit. Cowshy is at 60% on Massie, and I just bought some shares. Well, did people buy Massie again? We'll see. Just thought I'd point out the Polymarket is something that DARPA said they wanted to have back in the 80s. Oh, yeah, there's definitely manipulation, especially if they're buying ads of the site. Say nay to the gays, vote Massie. Thanks, Virtuoso. He's with the freaks. Rumor is the Somalis are getting in on Massie cows. Ha ha. Good one. Thomas Massie is anti-satanic. Thank you, Zamit. Appreciate that $20 donation. It's very kind of you. Kawaii Cowboy says Russ is back and the yin yang is balanced. Thanks for being awesome, you two. Thank you, Kawaii Cowboy.
Thank you.
Oh, declaring independence. Jose Vega. By the way, Jose Vega is now on the ballot as an independent. So he has made both ballot lines. So congratulations to Jose. And thanks for the $20, Jose. Russell, I was in the same parts of China you were in. How long until they let you leave the operating table did you pledge allegiance to Xi Jinping? For me, it took a few days to really get into it. Yeah, I have to make sure it stuck.
Yeah, no, it was like fucking Israel, man. They made me dress up like Winnie the Pooh, and they fucked me with a dog.
Yeah,
I had to suck off a panda before they let me out of that room.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, you're good to go now. By the way, Keaton, there's something in the package to Russ, too, just FYI. Oh, thank you, man.
Right.
Appreciate that. Nocturnal Human says, Russell, have you been following the UFO PSYOP? They released screenshots from a 1995 video game, UFO.
I mean, I've vaguely been like watching it out of the corner of my eye.
Race Car, thanks for the $50. Can we get a cowbell for Russ's return? Let's give Race Car a cowbell over there. Or a prayer bell.
Prayer bell.
A prayer bell, that's right. P.S. Keaton did an amazing job while on break. Well, thank you for that. Thank you. That's very kind of you, my friend. Vienticus, I like to keep an ear to the shadows, and I first heard about the dog grape thing coming from the dark web about a decade ago. Just thought I'd point that out. Have you been on that beat, Vienticus? Thank you for that, my friend. Vienticus says, and Rumble wouldn't let me send that last chat with a certain word in it. Oh, really? Are they in on the grape thing, too? Justin Rose, Russ supports the CCP genocide of the Tibetans, POS. Oh, there's one in every crowd.
There's one in every crowd. Wow, man. Guess who's going to get banned from the channel? Wow. It's going to be you.
Here's an accurate article from the New York Times.
This guy's been stalking me around X. This fucking.
Oh, he has? Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I blocked him over there already.
Oh, all right.
Fucking scumbag.
Vienticus says, here's an accurate article from the New York Times that people should have read years ago. I suggest you guys read it too, Keaton and Russ. All right. Thank you, Vienticus. Appreciate you pointing that out. Turk Yurdul. That land is modern-day Third Reich, one-to-one identical. I believe it. I believe it. EO Shush says there was a funny old viral video of a streamer that would troll Chinese games with Taiwan Numble and China number 2, and they would lose their shit. And now I know why after the 100 years of humiliation. Yeah, well, that was, Russ talked about that earlier in the stream. Here's the article on the way back machine. All right. Thank you, Vienticus. Why, is it paywalled? Is it a paywalled article? Russ, you bump into any Israelis. What think of Zios?
Yeah, actually, I mean, now I'm going to drop the last couple of the China videos, and then I'm going to go back to the beginning. I went to the Chabad house in Luang Prabang in Laos, and I filmed outside, and I caught some of the Orthodox out there.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Nah, man. Israelis, as I suspected, you don't run into none of those motherfuckers in China. They don't go to China. In Southeast Asia, you run into some of them. I talked about this when I went to Ha Long Bay. It was like a 2-day cruise, and there were like 7 Israeli mongoloids on that cruise. And what I found with the Israelis is they know everybody hates them. So very early on, when they start talking to you, they volunteer that they're Israeli to see how you're going to react. They'll be like, the way they open it up is like, where are you from? And when you say where you're from, they go, I'm from Israel. And so on that boat, they asked me where I was from. I said, New York. They said they were from Israel. And whatever they saw on my face, they did not say another word to me for the rest of the time we were on that boat.
Wow.
And they really were. They were like mongoloids, man. They acted like mongoloids. They're smoking. Damn. Fucking disgusting people. They're all like formed and inbred.
Ugh, as they say. All right. We got a lot more chat, so I'll just save my last segment for Sunday. It's fine. Doesn't matter because we got a ton more. So you want to read some?
All right.
Here, before you read some, let me just take care of our last piece of business here. I got to tell you guys about our friends at Chapter, which is a Medicare broker service where the brokers are completely salary based. So a lot of people end up on lousy Medicare plans because they are sold Medicare plans they don't need by brokers working for a commission. And so those brokers are not honest actors. They're salespeople with conflicts of interest. Chapter is the exception to this. Chapter is the only national advisor that compares every plan in the country, and their advisors work on salary. So you simply tell them your doctors and your prescriptions, and they do the work of finding a Medicare option that fits for you. And if they find you're already on that plan, then they'll tell you that, and that'll be the end of the call. But either way, you get off the phone knowing you made the right call. It's free. There's no obligation. You have nothing to lose. It takes 20 minutes. You speak to a person right away. The number is 404-706-0804. That's 404-706-0804. So if you're turning 65 or already on Medicare, want to see about changing plans, give them a call. You will talk to a person right away. No risk, no obligation, of course. That's Chapter, 404-706-0804. All right, go ahead. Let's take some more chats before we wrap things up here.
All right, Stoop Simon. Russ, did you at least gently cuddle the Great Wall? Let me tell you, man, the Great Wall was a heartbreaker because when you're first doing the hike on the Great Wall, it's just kind of like up and down. It's not strenuous, and it tricks you if you don't really know what's coming. The real climb on the Great Wall, that was rough, man. That was a very hard climb. But definitely worth it. That view is amazing. I think I released some of those pictures. It was pretty amazing. Vienticus Prime, that one girl's videos about the eminent domain have been getting taken down. Yeah, see, this is what I'm saying. They freaking they don't believe in your in your rights. And you think they're gonna let the plebs get in the way of their riches. Freddie X, I echo the sentiments of praise for your travel vids, Russ. I had a less awesome hot air balloon ride once. Your partner was crushing it with booking and prepping in your absence. Kudos all around.
Thank you,
in all honesty, and this is the truth. This has been, I've had a lot of partnerships. You do theater; it's a very social kind of a thing. So you work with a lot of people. I've never had one where I had total confidence in the person I was partners with. Of course, it never even occurred to me it was going to be a problem. It occurred to me that Keaton's the kind of guy who is might take on too much because that's how he is, and that he might burn out, but that he wouldn't be able to handle it. That thought never crossed my mind. I've never been partners with anyone where that wouldn't have. In fact, I probably wouldn't have even done it. Right. In all honesty. Siddhartha Vicious, these data centers are using their right of return.
Huh.
It was promised them 3,000 years ago. Buster Bluesun, Hill County in Texas has put a 1-year moratorium on data center. Fort Worth citizens also fighting back against a center in East FW. Water and electricity is an issue here. I hear you, man. I hear you. You're talking about people who fucking, shooting VA nurses in the street. I just can't see them accepting that. They'll find a way to say being, against data centers is woke or something. You're fucking only trans.
Well, I think they'll find
data
places to
centers.
build them. I mean, I think they just like they found places to build some of the ICE jails. They just won't build as many.
Yeah,
like that's what I think.
They're gonna have to find remote areas.
Yeah, like look, this is America. This is an empire in decline. There's no turning it around. It's general anesthesia versus the colonoscopy anesthesia. That colonoscopy anesthesia is very pleasant. It's very, very nice. You kind of feel it just kind of warm up in your veins, and then you take a nice little nap. General anesthesia is like you fucking like somebody hits you in the head with a fucking hammer, and you wake up with your fucking throat all scratched up because of the fuck they sent down there to keep you breathing. That's the choice you have in America. You can either take a nice nap or you can get hit over the head with a hammer. The best you can hope for is a nice nap. I mean, don't shit all over a nice nap. There are worse things than a nice nap.
Yeah. Was this from the Epstein Island Manual? Virtuoso, you guys can't see me pointing at you two, but get your fucking Scott Jennings segment out of my face.
Yeah,
that guy, man. Cryosynth, Kevin O'Leary is a smug Uranus. Yeah, I mean, this is what I always say, man. You say what you want about the communists, man, but they know how to deal with guys like that. they have ways. Buster Bluesun, and they're passing laws to use eminent domain to steal well water from farmers. Total BS. Well, you know what I keep thinking watching this is when I put up my segment about the Three Gorges Dam, you get all of these freaking broken brain, freaking State Department regurgitating motherfuckers talking about how they used, their version of eminent domain to build the dam. And it's like, you do know we have that, right?
Right.
Like you know we have eminent domain. Like, what are you talking about? That's not distinct to them. John, and you know what they did that we don't do when we seize things for eminent domain? They built everyone a brand new house who got displaced. Right. They built them all. We don't do that. We just give you less than it's worth, and good luck to you. John in Minnesota, you'll probably cover this for us, but did you look into how the AI build out in U.S. and China differ? A fact, no huge data center complexes in China. I mean, that I have not, in all honesty. Vienticus Prime, here's something people don't realize. In New Jersey, the same law that made it so that arcade machines could never have playtime accounted for by quarters also applies to that these. All right, so there's a part 2 to this. All right, sure. Data centers are for, it's not AI. I've taken to calling them WRRMs, worms, weighted randomization response matrices. They operate under the same principles the gambling laws made arcades change. Interesting. Okay, never heard that. All right, Dendrobates. One last welcome back, Russ. Thanks also to Keaton and guest. Special shout out to Kit. Would love to see a Russ Kit mashup stream. So Keaton, you better go on holiday soon if you know what's good for you. Well, that's what robots for.
Yeah, it's robots for.
Stoop sign. The UN rapporteur on torture says that arbitrarily differences in standard life processes is torture. Automation is torture. Checked into cheap motel with kiosk. Is that where you are now? Is that right, Tom?
Oh, one of the places that Russ stayed with in Cambodia was an AI motel, right?
That was in Vietnam. And no, that was bullshit. It wasn't an AI motel. They wanted to call it that to make it sound cool. It was a place that had no money to maintain a fucking hotel, trying to solve it by having a chat bot answer your freaking customer service calls. It was awful. Right. I switched hotels. It's the only time the whole trip I did that. Vianticus Prime, people don't ask questions until it's too late. Then they ask the same question. Why? Well, you're right. And I got to say, people are so broken. I despair for like how you would even organize Americans to resist. John in Minnesota, the difference in energy usage between a regular Google search and Grok Chat GPT is massive. Don't use it. My 2 cents. Thank you, man. Well, that's one way.
Yep.
Okay. Vianticus Prime, the Cassandra effect is alive and well in modern day, almost a millennia later. Stoop sign. I may possibly be under surveillance, and I fear what Russ is saying. What with the drugs and mental illness, depopulation is already happening. I mean, that's what I think. The lifespan keeps going down, right? Oh, George. Yes, I'm just kidding around, guys. Great seeing you two at it again. Love it.
We know, George.
Thank you, oh, George. Why do I keep doing it? Andy Gardner, Keaton breaking in and cranking Russ the teeth to 85.
Yeah. Yeah, I rented your apartment out. I subletted your apartment out.
Yeah. Raven Labs, RFK.
Yeah.
Roses are red, violets are blue. I love eating ass. As Russ is my favorite Jew after Shmuley. I'm gonna run into that guy in New York eventually. I'm waiting for that. Vianticus Prime, because he argues with people in Times Square.
Oh, he argues with people all over the place. What was that story we did about his building? He had some dispute where he rented it.
Yeah.
He used a common area for some memorial,
right?
And they tried to charge him like $700.
Yeah,
and he refused to pay.
Right?
He sued them.
Yeah. Vianticus Prime, don't shit all over the nice nap you have while getting a colonoscopy. I'm sure there's a joke there. Well, I think we made it.
Yeah.
All right. Dimitri Mugianis. Welcome back, Russ. Did you try the number 67 beef broccoli?
Yeah.
Excellent solidarity from Harlem. And finally, R. Monroe. Can't wait for the courage. It's been too long. Well, you're about to get it, my friend.
You're about to get it.
That is a very... And also, 5 o'clock, premiere of my video from the Uyghur region. My first video from the Uyghur region. We're going to rate it at 5.
That's right. That's right. And that is a very fitting final super chat of the day, because the courage looks like it is coming up. We thank you, everybody, very much for being here. Great to have a nice crowd in here on Thursday. Thank you very much for all of your chats and your support. Great to have the band back together here. And we will see you all again on Sunday night at 7 p.m. Eastern. Thanks, everybody, for being here today. Stoop Sign says you got to felch with the egg test. Good one. That's the last Rumble rant of the day. Thank you, Stoop Sign. Thank you to the YouTubers. Thank you to the Rumblers. Thanks to the mods for keeping the peace in the chat. If you're watching on YouTube, you will be redirected to Russ's Uyghur region video on Russ on the Road. So stay tuned for that. That's worked out good timing-wise. It's coming up in about 5 minutes. Perfecto. So thank you all very much for being here today. We will see you all back here on Sunday night, 7 p.m. Eastern. Until then, thanks again. Be safe and be well. Do we hit 666 over on Rumble? Yes, we did. We haven't had that in a long time. So right before the buzzer. 667 over on Rumble. All right. All right, everybody. Thanks very much for being here. We will see you all next time. Until then, be safe and be well.
Courage!
Please clap.